Ladies and gentlemen, guess what? You're listening to the Wadcast podcast. My name is Eddie Ift. I'm a comedian, CrossFitter, workout enthusiast, health aficionado. Yeah, I went from being a big-time partier to trying to clean up my act and get myself healthy and take care of myself. And I've got an obsessive-compulsive personality. And I've gotten obsessed with my nutrition, my health, my sleep, my exercise, and I try to share all of that with you. I found the world of CrossFit 10 years ago and jumped in with 2 feet and have been working out, doing CrossFit and cross-training ever since. And I like to share what I find out with you. So that's this show in a nutshell. Today's guest is a guy named Ryan Fischer, who's one of the best CrossFitters in the world. Absolutely. Undoubtedly. Incredible. The things he's done, competition level, everybody always knew. One of the top guys. Incredible athlete, comes from a great athletic background, Olympic training in bobsled and the skeleton, which is the scariest event in the Winter Olympics, I believe. That's where they luge head first down the bobsled track. He's also an entrepreneur and an owner of a CrossFit affiliate. And he came down to the Laugh Factory in Long Beach where I was doing a show. And before the show, we got together. It's always nice to see him. He's been a guest on the show before. And we shot the shit, finding out what's going on, how everything's going for him. And it was great to see. He's a great dude, great athlete, intense guy. And you just see why he's so successful. So I hope you enjoy this episode. Also, you know, like a lot of you come out to my shows. I try to catch up with you after the shows and stuff. And I have to say thank you. It's awesome to be able to hang out, meet CrossFitters. You're always giving me good places to eat, good places to work out. Next week, I'm going to be in Dallas, Texas. Tell me where to be because I'm going to be at Hyenas on the, where am I? The Hyenas Comedy Club. What am I talking about? That's this Thursday, Friday, Saturday. 18th, 19th, 20th. The next week I'll be in Chicago at Zanies. That's downtown Chicago. I have never been to Chicago before. I'm trying to do well. Please buy your tickets. Go to Zanies because comedy clubs don't have you back if you don't sell well. So I want to sell lots of tickets, and it's hard when it's first time in because people aren't really familiar with you. You haven't built a following, and I have not yet. So any CrossFit gyms that listen, if you go to a CrossFit gym, do me a favor, put it out to your whole gym. Say, hey, there's this guy. He does CrossFit. He's a comedian. He's funny. Let's go see him, and we'll hang out, have some beers, and it'd be great. So come out to Zanies. It's downtown Chicago. It's probably the most famous stand-up comedy club in all of Chicago, and Chicago's got an incredible comedy scene. The club, I've worked once before. I was in there just stopping by to check it out. It's incredible. Good times. Then August 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. That's CrossFit Games. If you can't make it to CrossFit Games, you live in Omaha, Nebraska, you better be at the Funny Bone because that's where I am. Then August 8th, 9th, and 10th, I'll be in Wilmington, North Carolina at the Dead Crow. August 21st. Oh, I'm missing a big date. July 21st. Big show, Comedy Store. Tickets are almost sold out now. We might add a second show. Might not. So get your tickets. July 21st to the Comedy Store on Sunset Boulevard in Hollywood. I know Pete Holmes from Crashing is already on the show. There's going to be a lot of other famous, successful comedians, really funny. That's the most important thing, funny. For some reason, people care about famous. But I like funny. So I always put really funny guys on my shows. But I also will put really famous people on so we sell all the tickets. That is the 21st of July. 21st of August, I am in Ketchum, Sun Valley, Idaho. Great little resort town. Great CrossFit gym there. I forget the name of the CrossFit, but it is fucking awesome. I worked out there a bunch of times when I would go up there skiing. And mountain people know how to work out because they climb mountains all day long. And they have like really good lungs and they ski and snowboard. They're into all kinds of snowboarding, backpacking, all kinds of mountain activities, river running and whatever they do. But, so they're beasts up there. and I'm hoping all those guys come out to my show. I forget the name of the CrossFit there, though. Oh, well. I couldn't beat Boulder Mountain CrossFit. Is it? I don't know. Anyway, come out wherever you are. That's the 21st. Then the 22nd, 23rd, 24th, 25th, I'm down in Boise, which is a couple hours away. Boise, Idaho. Really fun town. Hopefully there's going to be really good shows. 29th through the 31st, I'll be at Hyenas in Fort Worth, Texas. That's different. Everybody thinks Dallas, Fort Worth, but they're really far away. So come out and see me in Fort Worth. And then the 6th and 7th, big shows at the Comedy Store in La Jolla. That's September. And then after that, some dates. I'll be in Reno. I'm going to be in Alaska. I'm going to be in Anchorage. I'm going to be in Tahoe. All kinds of fun stuff. So come out and see me. Get your tickets. Go to eddyift.com. Today's episode is a really good episode. I'm really proud of it. And it is brought to you by Native. If you're wondering what Native is, it's on me right now. That's right. Native deodorant. It's my new deodorant, all natural, great stuff. And this episode is brought to you by Native. So for 20% off your first purchase, visit nativedeodorant.com and use the promo code WODCAST during checkout. All right? All right. So let's get this episode started with Ryan Fischer. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Wadcast podcast. I am your hostess with the mostest. I am fucking beat up. I'm on 3 hours sleep.
3?
In like 20-minute intervals. My wife had a baby 3 days ago. 3 days? I don't even know.
You have baby hair. Post baby hair.
I fucking haven't showered. I don't know anything. I don't know where I am right now. For anyone out there that's had a kid, I've had one. This one too. The other one was a blur. This one's not a blur. I saw it. I know what I went through, like the whole process this time, and I know this. I have respect for anyone that has kids. It's harder than any fucking workout I've ever done. It's impossible. I don't know how we exist. Women, you're amazing. I shit on women a lot, just joking, but women are amazing. You're way more of a man than I am. The shit I watch my wife I watched them tug a human being out of her stomach because she got a C-section. C-section's like the easy thing. Or not easy, but it's like you don't go into labor, you don't push it out. It still was like, it was like Total Recall. I saw a human being get pulled out of her, and they're like yanking around organs and pushing ribs and shit, and they're like, you're going to feel pressure. And she was drugged up, but still I was just like, fuck this.
Oh,
fuck
that's
this.
So terrifying.
That voice you hear right there is none other than you've been a guest a couple times on the show.
I have, back in the day.
Not in the incarnation that it is now. That is Ryan Fischer, everybody. And if you've wondered where Ryan is, you haven't wondered because he's around. You see him everywhere. Just a man amongst CrossFit and now programming coach. Still competing. You competed today?
No, I just watched my athletes compete.
Oh, really?
Which has been great because now I don't have to hurt myself anymore.
It's unbelievable what they do.
For a lot of people who don't really know too much is I haven't competed like in the last 2 years. I actually haven't really wanted to personally compete in a few years, but I did it for my members. And I have my left knee is bone on bone. I've been a knee replacement candidate, I should say, for
knee replacement.
Full knee replacement.
You're going that far.
That's what they recommended. For the last 3 or 4 years, and I've just been hammering it anyway.
Are you worried they recommended that? I've had a lot of recommendations that then physical therapists fix. Are you worried that
No, mine's past that. If I stand up right now, you can see extra bone kind of growing on the inside of my knee because my bones just rub together as I impact. I completely, no joke, I don't run at all anymore.
Yep.
I don't really do high rep cleans or snatches. I don't do box jumps. I can do dubs because it's mostly calves.
Yeah.
And then if I do run, it's handful of times a year, and it's like 200s in a workout. And like, that's really it.
What do you attribute this to?
Honestly, my right knee's fine. My left knee, I had a bad snowboard accident in Jackson Hole, and which is in Wyoming. And ever since then, I had surgery, and it was fine. Like immediately
what
after.
Was the accident? What'd you have?
Oh, full ACL, everything tore. Full ACL tore in half, but then I had like some MCL, meniscus, different damage.
Sure.
But now I'm at the point now, probably with the conjunction of, like when I started CrossFit in 2010, like none of us knew what the fuck we were doing.
Sure.
So we were just doing everything all day, every day. And it really bothers me now because I see people now that they coming in the doors, like these young kids, like 23, 24, maybe 22, and they're just like, I want to go fucking to the games and I'm going to do everything I can. And I'm like, all right, well, listen, like, people don't do this dumb shit that we used to do back in the day. You know what I mean? Like, it's a lot smarter now. Just listen to me. You know, like, I understand you're excited and you want to work out 4 hours a day, but you don't have to.
Yeah.
So,
it's like football back in the day. They used to run into each other
with no helmet.
And even when they had helmets, and they would hit helmet on helmet. They don't do that anymore because you get hurt. But the thing is, back in the day when we got into this, and I'm going to blame Glassman a little bit, there was this elitism of it that, they know what they're doing. They've perfected this all, and it's the best way to work out. You're not going to get hurt. You're going to get in exceptional shape. And there wasn't this.
I think he was right, actually, in the beginning. Because, like, true CrossFit was like 5x5 back squat on Monday, done.
That's true.
And then it was like gymnastics the next day.
That's true.
Done.
That's true.
Now it's like, well, you know what happens? I think the CrossFit Games kind of ruined it.
Yep.
Because it's multiple events every day. So then people started training multiple times a day to get ready for that.
Yeah.
And to get ready for regionals and to get ready for the open. So, like, I don't really blame anyone, but I blame competition for.
But I think that's why Glassman, too, kind of has this resentment sort of towards the games.
Oh, no. I think that he, the whole time, has never really wanted it to turn into what it did.
Yeah.
I think it was probably mostly Castro and the other people who were like orchestrating it.
Yeah.
But I don't think anyone's wrong. It made it bigger. It made it a huge sport. It gave it a lot more, notoriety and all that. So I think that's fine too. But as far as like long-term, like life longevity, they kind of shortened it a little bit.
As an affiliate owner, you still have your affiliate, right?
I do.
Do you?
I've never called it CrossFit.
Haven't you really?
I mean, it's called CrossFit Chalk, and I have shirts that say CrossFit Chalk, but most of my shirts say Chalk. I've never had CrossFit on the sign, ever. My business cards have always said Chalk.
Yeah.
So, like, everything is basically Chalk.
I see that a lot of places, and to be honest, I kind of recommend that to people, and they're like, I'm going to open one. I go, I'd put CrossFit, in your Google search.
Yes.
When people want to find a CrossFit gym that you are CrossFit, you're certified for it, and you teach, group classes that are, but I've seen all the group classes change too. In the last like 3 years, where it's gone from, hey, we're going to do, like a
100 snatches for time, and now it's like,
it's so much like, scale, this is RX. Nobody's done RX today. No, I was just talking to a games athlete who goes, I was in a gym and I didn't do the RX. They're like, the RX looked way too heavy, so I scaled down. I was like, what? You scale? And they're like, fuck yeah. Yeah. And I thought it was funny. But you're known for having like you can like squat like 6 million pounds. So isn't that killing you now that you can't do that with your knee?
It was a little bit of a, ego hit where, I mean, even snatching and clean, those were all like my jam. Like that was, I was just a naturally super strong human. And now I'm still really strong in different ways. So like now I can lunge a lot of weight because it doesn't go past parallel. So like once my knee hits the ground, it's like 90 degrees on the money.
Interesting.
And I'm fine. So I can legit do lunges with like 400 pounds, but I can't back squat like 225.
Fuck. But walking around hurts you.
Yeah, like it hurts like pretty much a little bit, like all the time.
Scale 1 to 10, and a CrossFitter pain is different than everyone else's, but scale 1 to 10, where are you in the pain zone? 10 being the worst.
Like just sitting here?
Yeah.
Probably like 3 or 4.
Really? Yeah, that sucks.
It's been like that for a while though. Like a 3 or 4 to me is a 0 because I'm just like, it's constant.
Wow.
Yeah. And I've actually been like that for a couple years. I I mean, I've told people like my knee bothers me.
Yeah.
And you can watch videos of me snatching like 300 pounds in my gym, like for the open or something, and I'm like really crooked when I catch it.
Oh.
And it just looks like I probably have like an imbalance, but that's like a lot of pain.
Oh. You know, and I guess I'm just a pussy because when I tried in the sort of beginning, maybe in the first 3 years or so of CrossFit, fourth year, whatever, tried to start doing heavy weights, I just started feeling like problems in hips and wrists and just joints and stuff where I was like, it just right away said to me, like, I can ignore this pain and keep going heavier. But I think this pain's telling me to stop. And my biggest fear was I had never had hip pain ever. But, like, I was doing outlaw at the time.
Oh, my God, yeah.
And my hips just started to feel so bad that I was like, either I got to start all over again and learn proper form, or I'm just... humans aren't supposed to do this.
Well, dude, it's funny when you think about it. Like, if you think of like the two most fucked up people in the world, like when they're done competing, you have like people who did long distance running. Their knees are super fucked up. Mm-hmm. And then you have people who competed in the Olympics for weightlifting, like all the Chinese people and stuff.
Oh, they're all fucked up?
They're super fucked up.
I did not know
so
that.
all they did was lift. All the other people did was run. Now we're mixing those together. And actually, gymnasts, they're super fucked up too.
Are they really?
Usually, yeah. Their bodies are pretty fucked up. It's a lot of impact.
I would think gymnasts would be in really good shape because of all the flexibility and stretching.
The men are usually better than the women.
Really?
The women, because they're always doing like the floor exercise and stuff, it's a lot of pounding on the knees and stuff like that. They're typically a little beat up later on. So now you've mixed all three of those together, and no one ever thought that like doing that in abundance was like going to be okay in the long term.
So when I was in high school, I was a ski instructor in ski patrol at this little ski mountain, and there was a doctor there, Dr. Freddie Fu, who...
That literally sounds like he made it up.
I swear to God, this guy, look him up. He's like he's like a kind of like a Dr. Stedman. Stedman does the knees, who you should look at, Dr. Stedman out at the Vail Clinic. If you haven't seen him, you need to go to see Dr. Stedman.
I mean, dude, I saw the guy that saw like Kobe Bryant.
That's Stedman. That's the Stedman Clinic out in Vail. That's where Kobe went. That's where he got caught with the rape thing.
Oh, I thought it was called. What the hell is this place called? It's in L.A.
Yeah, Stedman is out of Vail, Colorado, and he's where everyone who's all the Olympians go to him. Freddie Fu is like, Freddie Fu worked with the Steelers and the University of Pittsburgh, but he was a ski patrol with us. He was just volunteer as a ski patrol. And I was doing mogul competitions at the time, and he just looked at me and shook his head one day.
Yeah.
We were on a chairlift, and he's like,
it's like knee suicide.
He's like, you're done. He's like, you're not going to be able to walk as an adult. And I was like, what? He's like, you're not going to be able to walk. And he's like, you're destroying your knees. And I was like, oh, come on, bullshit. And I'm, knock on wood, my knees are good. But I'm like, are they going to go? Like, my mom's got 2 knee replacements. Does it happen? Is the damage done? And I know Johnny Mosley, who was Olympic mogul skier, and I'm like, how do you fucking have your knees together? Because, all those Olympians get their knees rebuilt all the time.
Well, I lived in Park City for 4 years, and
you were a loser, right?
I did
skeleton.
I did skeleton first, and I did bobsled. And I had plenty of friends who'd been to the Olympics multiple times for moguls, including this girl, Jillian Botley. She went to the Olympics 3 times. She got a silver. And she had 4 ACL surgeries.
I don't get that after one. I just saw John Florence, who's probably the best surfer in the world, just tore his ACL again.
I just had his brother on my podcast. Nathan, yeah.
Nathan's great.
He's insane.
John's could be done.
Yeah, he's in trouble for sure. But
you tear that, like, airs are over for him. And my buddy Albie Layer just had both hips done, and I said, "What was it from?" And he goes, "What do you think? You're flying up in the air, 8 feet in the air, and then landing on a board on the middle. Like, it's just humans aren't built for that."
Well, I mean, I'm really fortunate. I just went on a podcast literally just a few days ago, and it was for Entrepreneur Magazine. So to this day, it was, probably like my most prized podcast I'd ever been on. And
what?
I mean, until now, but like Christ. Up until now, I mean, that was like a true honor to be asked to be on this show. And this guy, David Meltzer, who's like one of the richest people in the world, was interviewing me. He was unbelievable. And he was asking me, I looked at your career, and, you made it all the way to Olympic team on bobsled and all these other sports, and then you'd get injured before the Olympics, or, you know, you were the alternate for the CrossFit Games multiple times.
So you were better at bobsled than you were skeleton?
Yes, actually.
Oh, I always thought the skeleton was your specialty. Like that's.
I had one of the fastest push starts in the world.
Really?
And then I was the worst driver in the world. No, not literally the worst, but like I would come down the track, I would like do this crazy sprint off the top, and everybody'd be like, "Holy shit,
yeah,
that guy's fast!" And then I get on the sled and just blow it on the way down. And when I say blow it, like you're talking about tenths of a second. It wasn't like a huge deal.
You're in the back, or you're the driver?
Skeleton, you're the only one.
Oh, and skeleton. Okay,
yeah.
Okay.
For bobsled, I was on the 4-man team, and I was the second person to hop in the sled.
Okay.
So that was a whole different ball game, but basically...
So you weren't that great at steering a skeleton?
Yeah, so then I wound up just gaining weight and then doing bobsled. And then I was on track to probably go to the 2010 Olympics, and then I tore my hamstring. And then everybody knows my career in CrossFit. I was like the alternate for the CrossFit Games like 3 times. Like I was one place away. And on this podcast, he was like... And it was the first time I ever really thought about it. And he was saying, you know... Do you think that there was a reason why all of this happened? And I was like, honestly, I just don't think I was ever meant to do any of these things. You know, I think like right now I'm doing really good in business and I'm helping a lot of people, and Chalk is like a worldwide brand, even regardless of like me trying to murder a judge and like people trying to bring me down, like in the CrossFit world, and I didn't make it to the games and all these things.
Let's put a little
pause real quick.
No, not a pause. We're going to bookmark that and get back to that. You try to murder a judge. I like that. That's. I mean, I should go straight to that.
I think that was the first reason I was on your show was after that.
I don't know if I was. Sometimes I was there and sometimes I wasn't.
I don't think anybody was confident enough to talk to me after that. They're like, this guy's fucking terrifying.
That's great, though. On my other podcast, I had 3 murderers on. I have 3 people that really pulled the murder off. One comedian stabbed a guy and killed him, and I go, it was in a fight. And I go, why? I go, but that's self-defense. Why'd you go to jail? He goes, the judge said I didn't have to stab him 47 times.
Oh, that's a good point.
So then the other one was like this comedian.
Was it really 47?
47.
Good for him.
I'm like, you get tired after like 12. You'd be like,
I get hungry. You know what I mean?
14. Like, can I get a drink? I'll be back. Somebody hold him. Is he dead yet? All right. Well, I'll be back to chop some more. Then
get a fork out.
Then there was this like ghetto dude that told me he had a gunshot in his face. He's a comedian. And I said, who shot you? And he said, oh, some guy. And I said, where's he? And he goes, let's just say he's not around anymore. And I said, did you kill him? And he goes, I'm not going to answer that question. I go, let's say this. He said he's not around, like he doesn't live around, or is he not on Earth? And he goes, he's not on Earth. And I said, hypothetically, if you were to kill somebody, hypothetically, I go, how do you get rid of the weapon? He's like, you go fishing. And I was like, oh, you go fishing. I go, so if you want to get rid of a body, where do you go? He goes, you go fishing. And I was like, okay, I'm not going to ask any more questions.
Yeah, we're good.
And then to be technical about it, the third guy didn't murder someone. He tried to. And his stepmother killed his father, he thinks. He flew to Japan, beat her to death.
Oh, okay.
Flew right back. Very funny comedian, Yoshi Obayashi. Really funny. And he'll talk this story all the time. I think he's told it on Rogan's show, but he used to come on my show and talk. He's like, that bitch deserved it. And he has no qualms about talking about it.
Perfect.
But so, like, when you say, yeah, I tried to kill a judge. Okay, this is my show. But I want to get to when you say, I don't think I was meant. No, you probably weren't. It's like we all have these failures and trials and tribulations that the more we try, the people that succeed the most failed the most, and you had to fail at all these things to get where you succeeded. And I always say that about, like, when I think about all my failures, and I go, well, if I didn't fail, I wouldn't have my wife and children that I have, which to me is my success. And, like, you know, if you say to me, what's the greatest thing you have? I'd be like, my wife and my children. So every failure I had along the way brought me to that. So I none of that's failure. I always go, well, you know, I didn't get that TV show because it wasn't meant to be. So not making the CrossFit Games might have saved you your other knee.
I mean, I do believe that, you know, because there's a lot of people now trying to get into the business realm of all this CrossFit stuff, even though they're big athletes and stuff, and it's like a little bit late, you know? It's like the Instagram thing happened, or Facebook happened, or, you know, online programming happened, or whatever happened. So, I mean, fuck. I mean, as much as I want to be like, I wish this happened or that happened, I think I'm happy with just the way everything went.
Yeah. Yeah.
I know I am.
Now tell me about murdering the judge.
Man, fuck that guy.
Judges are brutal. Everybody thinks that a judge is, they're this person that sits there and hands down their decision and it's adjudicated like they know the difference between right and wrong and they're always right. But it's just like your word against. I went to court once and I sat there and I had a judge that I was like,
I've been there a few times.
This judge is going to be great for me. This judge is going to be great.
Yeah.
And then I got moved to
you.
the next courtroom and I looked at the other judge. I'm like, this judge is going to fucking hate me.
Yeah.
And he did.
Yep.
And it had nothing to do with our court case. It was just like,
he's just a dick.
He looked at me and this other guy and he was like, nah, whatever he said. It was one of those. It was
just
like
doesn't like you.
Personality based. So
he's like on Bumble and he's just swiping left. He's like, he sees you. He's like left.
I walked in and the guy was like, he goes, it had to do with my old podcast. And this old dude, he looks down at this paper and he looks up at me and he goes, what's a podcast?
Oh, you're like, fucked.
We're over. I was like, where do I sign? How do I leave? But go on.
You raise your hand. How do I go fuck myself?
Yeah. So how judge?
So I think like the part that really bothers me the most is, I mean, all of my true followers, they understand like what was happening in that moment for me. But I wasn't really on the Instagram platform yet. Like a lot of people didn't know my story. It was just a few friends that knew what was happening. But in that moment, the year or two prior to that, I had been homeless and stealing shit from Whole Foods and, multiple food stores and, I mean, clothes. I mean, everything. Like I had lost everything in my life and all I had was CrossFit. And I wanted to do anything I could to stay in it. And my mom begged me to come home and drive across the country to New Jersey, which is where I'm from. And I was sleeping on a girl's couch in California, obviously where we're at. And I didn't even know who she was. She just invited me to stay on her couch because everybody at the gym that I was at loved me there. And they're like, we want you to stay. We want to do whatever you can. And I went to the OC Throwdown, which was a huge event. Before that.
Is this the one where you put, that wasn't where you.
This is where I got second place. Okay. And it was the first time I had ever seen the top athletes in the world. It was like Nate Schrader was there and Blair Morrison. These are all guys that got top 5 in the CrossFit Games. These are people that I saw on YouTube. And I was like.
What year was this?
2012.
Okay.
And I was like, holy shit. I cannot believe I'm standing next to these guys.
But you had already been in Olympic training.
Yeah, of course. But like, it's totally different. You know what I mean? I was 210 pounds pushing a sled and I'm 5'5". When I was competing, as soon as I made it to regionals, I was 175, 80 pounds. Like 30 pounds less. I'm doing gymnastics, all these. It's a totally different story.
But what I'm saying is you were the top of, I always put Olympics because it's been around forever and there's more.
But bobsled is the entire sport is a 30-meter sprint.
True, but I'm saying.
And then the driver has all
it's put on this pedestal.
It is.
Like, no one even gets to do it. Like, I don't remember bobsled class. In gym class, they weren't like, hey, now we're going to practice bobsled.
Yeah.
It's like you have to be in this weird world to get into it. So it's already in its own weird niche. And it's very elite. And you see people and every 4 years they're on TV and holy shit. And you're Olympic development, whatever it is. That's the top of the top. And you were there. So I would think that when you went to CrossFit was this like imaginary sport that, and it isn't now. It's become something somewhat significant. But for those first couple of years, it was invented like 3 years ago.
There were still some badass dudes, though.
I'm not saying there weren't, but I'm saying you mentally to go there from the Olympics, I would think would be a step down.
And I mean, it kind of is in a way, and then in another way, it was just so many more skill. It was so much more skills that I had never had before, or even practiced. Like when my first time at regionals. They genuinely thought that I was going to go to the CrossFit Games like immediately. Like there was articles about me fucking everywhere. Like this kid is insane. And then, coincidentally enough, my first CrossFit gym ever that I walked in and did my first intro class with Tommy Hackenbruck.
And that's Ute?
At Ute CrossFit.
Yeah.
So I went to University of Utah because they gave me a full ride to be on the bobsled team. In Utah, there's tons of athletes at University of Utah that are all in the Olympics. You have cross country skiers, the aerialists who do the flips and all that. The long jump skiers who fucking fly in the air. You got
psychopaths.
You got bobsled, skeleton, luge. I think that's about it.
How'd you get there from New Jersey? How'd you get to that?
Well, I went to school.
We talked about this on the show a long time ago.
Yeah,
but that was like 5-6 years ago, and I just want to revisit it.
But I went to school in Hawaii after school. After high school, I went to Hawaii. I was a helicopter pilot, I went to helicopter pilot school for like 2 years. And then after that, I realized that I wanted to fly in the military instead of privately. Right. So I got my private license. I was totally done with school.
You can fly a helicopter.
Yes, for sure.
That's awesome.
By the time I was 26, I had like the craziest story, like life story. But all of this, like, just in general, I while I'm in Hawaii and I get my helicopter license, I'm starting to go to the University of Hawaii. I meet this kid, Eric, who was an All-American football player, and he just was like, you should come work out with me. And I remember seeing this kid walk around the dorms that I was at, and he just looked like a specimen.
What kind of school were you at for helicopter flying?
It's called Mauna Loa Helicopters, and it was in Honolulu.
Okay. Because
that's like where the airport is. And but anyway, I remember in my dorms, this kid, Eric, I just remember being like, this kid looks insane. I would do anything to have a body like this kid, you know? I just never seen anybody like him.
So how much schooling do you have to go to learn how to fly a helicopter?
We're still not past the helicopter thing.
I am. I can't.
So you have your private is like 60 to 80 hours times 200 at the time, 50 an hour to train. And then like all this other different variables, like to learn before you could even like try to fly on your own. There's like all these amount of different hours you have to do before that, and then there's like solo hours where you actually fly alone. And because it's so windy in Hawaii, sometimes you don't really get a lot of time to fly solo.
So you were supposed to be there for like 2 years to learn how to fly?
Give or take. Kind of depends on how fast you got through everything.
It's just weird because comedian, do you know Bill Burr?
Yes.
Bill flies helicopters. And
I started with planes when I was 16.
Oh, okay.
And then I fell asleep flying the plane 3 times. And the third time, the guy was like, dude, I know you love flying, but I think you should maybe try helicopters. There's a lot more going on. Because when you drive a plane, I mean, dude, it gets boring. Like, you're just literally sitting there with your hands on the handle, and you're the bus driver.
Yeah, it sucks.
But when you're on a helicopter, you know, you have both hands have to do something, both feet have to do something. Like, you're always playing with the tail rudder, you're always playing with the collective, the height, you know, everything, the speed, everything is something's happening with all 4 extensions of your body.
I can't play guitar. I wouldn't be able to. But I like 2 hands doing. I'm like, I would freak out. But I agree with you about falling asleep. I was just telling my father-in-law this because I bought this new car today, and he's like, "Are you gonna fuck this car up like your old one?" I'm like, "No." I'm like, "This one." I go, "This is like." He's like, "Well," I go, "That one." I go, "Boring. That's not like I'm not going 4-wheeling." And he goes, "Why do you do all this crazy shit?" I go, "You don't understand. I'm a really good driver when I'm driving intensely. It's when I'm like on the highway and nothing's. I
start falling asleep, dude.
Bored.
I was almost falling asleep on the way here.
Yeah,
it was terrible. It's so boring.
But you put me on like a track. I'm great.
Yeah, you're good to go.
Focused.
Yeah,
it's a heightened sense of awareness. So I get that. But so this guy Eric, athletic football player guy, he was flying helicopters?
No, he was. We were both going to University of Hawaii, so I saw him, and I used to always just, you know, talk to him about like what he was doing. I didn't realize how good of a football player he was at the time. And I had loved working out in high school a little bit, and I just never really got like super into it. And I didn't want to work out with him because he just looked way too like, I don't want to work out with someone who obviously is like my goal, you know, because then I feel like a pussy. But he like always asked me, come work out with me. And I started working out with him, and I just naturally was like stronger than this kid who was like, he was telling me, he's like, hey man, I don't like want to talk myself up, but like, I was like one of the best football players like in the nation, and I'm here like on a full ride, blah, blah, blah. And you're like stronger than I am. Like, you should play football. And I was like, no, I don't really want to play football. And he's like, no, you don't understand. Like, you would crush everybody in the weight room right now. Like, you just got to put some weight on. You'll fucking kill people. And at the time I was 150 pounds. Yeah. I was pretty small. And then I saw this sign one day, and it said bobsled and skeleton tryouts from Verizon, the phone company.
In Hawaii.
Mm-hmm. Well, they were going to all 50 states trying to find 3 bobsledders and 3 skeleton athletes. They're going to every state just trying to recruit.
That's insane.
And you do this. It's like the NFL Combine, but it was the bobsled and skeleton combine. And there was a 3-rep max back squat, a 1-rep max power clean, a 1-rep max ball toss, like a medicine ball underhand, a vertical jump, a sprint, and there was like maybe one more thing. And I had gotten second in the whole nation on this thing.
Wow.
And then I moved to Utah. And a whole bunch of different things happened, and then brought me to that moment with the judge. And if you guys remember, you know, just about 10 minutes ago, me talking about being homeless and all these different things, that moment, where I was getting no rep. I was already going to the games pretty much. Like I had already had a really low amount of points. Like I had to really fuck it up to not go. And I got 4th that year out of top 3, and I got dead last
at regionals.
I got 4th at regionals, but I got dead last in the event that I said I was going to kill the judge because I was in first place and they're no repping me.
Oh, I remember this completely. Yeah. I thought you were talking about like something happened in court and you went to court and you told a judge you were, and I was like, oh, fuck.
Oh, no.
Totally confused.
Yeah.
I remember that whole situation.
Yeah.
I remember you getting no repped. Look, I can see that being completely frustrating. I have also told 1 million people that I'm going to kill them.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I yell out it
doesn't mean I was actually going to kill him.
I have calmed down a lot, but like people will be like, give me the finger and I'll yell out the window, I'll fucking kill you.
Yeah.
Like that is an expression that I don't think you should be held. I don't think that in California that's assault. In New Jersey, that's a Tuesday.
For sure. Dude, I grew up like fighting.
Yeah, same here.
Like,
it's East Coast. I've had this discussion a lot lately because comedians.
And I'm surprised that this all happened with Castro, who's a SEAL. I thought he'd be like, that guy's kind of badass. Instead, he was like, I'm going to ruin this guy's life.
He's a West Coast SEAL.
Yeah.
There's West Coast, there's Norfolk, and you talk to the East Coast guys, and they're all about like, I think Zach Forrest was an East Coast one, and they're in Little Creek, and the West Coast ones they say they're the party guys, and the East Coast guys are like, let's get to fucking work.
Yeah.
East Coast, and I'm going to get a lot of slack for this. I grew up in Pittsburgh, where you talk back to somebody, you get punched in the face. I know Boston, Philly, New York, New Jersey. That's what happens. There's none of that like,
and you're not really scared to lose either. It's just normal. Like, I have to fight right now because that's what's happening.
And you get put in your place a lot. Like you go, I don't fuck with that dude anymore.
Yeah, you lose fights, you win fights,
and there's this like, it's like a hierarchy. It's like there's a pack in the park of dogs, and you know who's the top dog, and you know where your place is, and you know you don't fuck with that guy, and you can fuck with.
I actually really miss it. I wish that I could fight more now.
But I've said it in comedy 1,000 times. In the East Coast, we had it. Comedians talk shit on other comedians. Your shit's whack. It's hack. You shouldn't be doing that on stage. You're fucking up the show for everyone. On the West Coast, you're wonderful. You're amazing. But everybody's lying.
Yeah.
And they're like, no one will talk shit on anyone. I surf out here all the time. Everyone talks. And I'm like, oh my God, you do that shit in New York. You get beaten to death for that.
Yeah.
And so it doesn't happen on the West Coast because I think it's just laid back and easier here. So
I just don't want to go to jail. I don't really care about like.
Yeah. I had to learn that though. People are like, Eddie, you will go to jail here. And I was like, because the East Coast, you punch someone in. I mean, I was in bar brawls.
Yeah.
Bar brawls where the cops show up and they're like, what happened here? And he fucking hit me. Why don't you fucking hit him back, you pussy? Like where the West Coast is like, that's aggravated assault.
Yeah.
And you will, like I threatened a kid.
Because there's nothing else to do here.
Yeah, I threatened.
There's no real crime.
I threatened a guy surfing. I didn't even threaten him. I go, I said, the guy was telling me I got on his wave or something. And I said, I think I said something like, shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. I was like, you're ruining everyone's day or something. And I go, if you don't shut the fuck up, I'm going to kill. I said something like that. And he went out and told the lifeguards.
Oh my God.
And told on me. And I was like, this is a weird, and I've had to stop doing that. I've had to stop. But I think it's natural, especially in the heat of
especially a competition like that. Yeah.
Competition. And someone's going, no, I would have gone, fuck,
Dude, I was losing it because I felt it, and it was just such a terrible feeling. I just was like, man, all this hard work that I've been doing for years is gone. And I had already done really well at regionals, and this was my time to go, and I didn't want to wait a whole nother year. I really wanted to just make it, and it was the best shape I'd ever been in. It was it was going to be the best games I'd ever had.
Yeah, I don't want to make you feel bad, but you were always that guy that we were like, why hasn't he made it? Why hasn't he made it? Because I get shit like that with comedy.
And I didn't think I was just gonna go to the games and be another person competing. I was like, dude, I'm gonna fucking get podium. Let's go. I was a fucking maniac. Just thinking about it right now, I'm so juiced up because I worked out fucking hard. Well,
you not only worked out hard, you were one of those guys.
That was good.
You were a favorite. You were a guy that you go, oh, watch out for this. And you did well in the opens, didn't you?
Yeah, I had gotten first place in every open in at least one workout. I always did really well, and And after that moment, they never even let me get close. Every time I would compete, they would just get like 3 judges on me. Like, you know, it was just like a complete shit show. And then like all the other athletes who had like been to the games already, like they're doing shitty reps and everything's fine. Like no big deal.
It is more subjective than people know.
They're like, here's the world record by like, you know, so-and-so doing the workout, and they're like bouncing the weights off the ground. They're like not locking out on their muscle ups. And I'm like, oh yeah, that's the world record. Cool. I'll just go fuck myself.
I want to stop the show for a second to talk to you about sponsors of the show. Like I said, I usually vet the sponsors to make sure it's something I believe in before I want to promote them. And this is a sponsor. Don't tell them. Do not tell them this. But if they stopped paying me, I would keep talking about this because I can't stop drinking this. This is by far the best recovery drink that I have ever come across. I've tried them all. Obviously, you know, you're in gyms. Some people sell different versions. Everybody, the go-to used to be Gatorade. Gatorade, why? No one does that anymore. Sugar. It's full of sugar. This isn't. What I'm talking about is O2 Sports Recovery Drink. And it's basically revolutionizing post-workout. It's O2 because of the oxygen. They've blended 7 times the oxygen of tap water with electrolytes. How many times on the show have you heard me talk about your sodium, your magnesium, your potassium, all these important things, all your electrolytes? Check out O2. O2 has it in there, and they've got all the electrolytes you need to process the toxins. You're going to recover faster. It's non-carbonated, so it's easy to drink. You know, you just chug it. It tastes delicious. I love it. My wife loves it. My father-in-law was here drinking it. My mother-in-law. I sent them a message. I go, my wife was just pregnant and everything, and we had her drinking it after pregnancy because it's just so good for anything you're doing. It's not just CrossFit. You're doing boxing. You're doing a long run. You're doing yoga. This is what you want to do. It's got 4 different flavors. They got 2 with caffeine, 2 without. It's got twice the amount of electrolytes. Twice the amount of electrolytes that Gatorade has, but only has 2 grams of sugar. Okay. So it's 20 grams per 16-ounce can. Tastes so good. The sweetener that they use is, I believe it's the same stuff that's in like Halo Top, which is delicious. So 2 of the flavors have caffeine, 2 don't, but they all taste incredible. And here's the good thing about their caffeine too. Their caffeine comes from a natural caffeine, which means it's absorbed into the body slower, and it's going to leave the body slower. So you're going to keep that caffeine, keep yourself awake. You're going to avoid the jitters and the crash that come with regular energy drinks, you know, those other ones. So it was the guys that created it, CrossFit trainer, guy who's been around for years and years in the CrossFit business, also a doctor, medical doctor. And they did all their research. I did due diligence. They figured this thing out. And I think that we as a population of people, a community of people, #community, need to support this drink because it's stuff like this that needs to succeed so that we can get rid of all that crap out there that's hurting people and get stuff that helps people. So try it. You're going to love it. Okay. You're going to love it. And, you're going to go, oh my God, that's the best recovery drink I've had. You're going to get rid of all those toxins. You're going to recover quicker. And check them out at drinko2.com. That's drinko2.com. Drinko2.com. You can follow them on Instagram at drinko2recovery. But go to drinko2.com. Use the code WODCAST for 20% off your purchases. I've got, you hear that? 20% off. Promo code WODCAST. I'm going to go order more myself because we just went through like 4 cases of this stuff. That's how good it is. So I like the blackberry currant. My wife likes the lemon lime. Try it out. Drinko2.com and use WODCAST at the promo. So drinko2.com. One thing we can all agree on is protein. Everybody argues about carbs, fat, blah, 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 blah. But we need tons of protein. And if you can't get enough meat in you, what's the best thing to do? You get it from your whey protein. That's right. And the best protein out there, Xology. I've done my research. and I found Xology. Again, the reason I like them, bunch of CrossFitters, you can trust them. You know, they're part of the cult. They're based out of San Diego, the healthiest place in the world, and they have found a way to make some protein that is truly awesome. And it's keto, paleo friendly. They only use monk fruit in all their products. That is paleo friendly. That is a sweetener that makes it delicious. You can get the 20. It's available in 20 serve bags for home or single use pods. I like the pods. The pods are compostable. It has its own little blender that you can put it in, that you put the pod in, snap the top on, screw it shut, shake up the water, and boom, you got a shake right there. They've developed the world's shaker. They've done it. That's them. And that's, I think they have a patent on it. It's great. You can take it to the gym with you. You don't have to worry about spilling shit anywhere or having to stir it. You just shake this thing, put it in, boom. And then the best part is it's environmentally friendly. And they've got a ton of different products. Not a ton, but they've got some BCAA products, which is their biggest seller, the branched chain amino acids. They only use fermented vegetables, creating this honest vegan product. And I know you're out there, vegans, so check this one out. They've got the grass-fed whey. They've got it's delicious. I use the chocolate protein. I put some peanut butter in, some ice, and a banana, and it's the best smoothie ever. So check it out. Try it out. Anybody got any good smoothie recommendations for me of what to make? Every once in a while I throw some Halo Top in there with it. Just delicious. But you can just do it with water, and it's great. So check them out, Xology. They're CrossFitters, good guys to support. Their promo code's WODcast. It's going to get you 15% off. Go to, listen to this unique address because it's not a com. It's www.xology.co. That's XOLOGY.co. XOLOGY.co. Check them out. Xology.co. 15% off with the promo code WODcast. I know you guys are, it's the middle of summer. You're really getting into it. Your exercises are getting tough and you're feeling sore all over probably like I am. Well, you don't have to be anymore because there's Tiger Balm Active Muscle Rub. This is what I do, and I forgot to do it the other day, and it crushed me. I have to do it every day. So there's a pre-workout routine, and then there's a post-workout. It's pretty simple and easy. Good way to loosen up your muscles before you work out. You put on the muscle rub, okay? You put that on before. It's non-greasy. It's got this warming sensation. Gets your muscles ready to go. They are warmed up and ready. They're not tight. They're not all rigid. You get in there and boom, you're just ready to go right away. And they've got great post-workout products too. They've got two. They've got the Muscle Balm Active Muscle Gel, which, that burns. It gives you that good burn, but it makes that pain of like DOMS. When you have DOMS so bad, put on some Tiger Balm Active Muscle Gel. You won't have DOMS anymore. I mean, it doesn't make the DOMS go away, but you don't feel the DOMS. I promise you. And then you can, they've got a muscle spray too that you can, hard to reach places. You just spray the stuff and boom. Where do you get it? CVS or Rite Aid. How easy is that? You don't have to order it online. You just go to CVS or Rite Aid. Go in. This is what I tell you to do. Go in, scream at the top of your lungs. Where's the Tiger Balm Active? They will point you to where it is. You get yourself some muscle gel, some muscle spray, and the muscle rub, muscle gel, muscle spray. Tiger Balm Active. Tiger Balm Active. It's available at your local CVS and Rite Aid. Remember when I said I only like to promote products that I can truly believe in? Well, here's another one. My wife started using this deodorant. And she told me about it. And she's like, you got to try it. And I used it. And I always thought natural deodorants couldn't work. But I don't like putting anything on myself that isn't natural. So she's like, you have to try this. I try the Native. Boom. Unbelievable. No smell. I smell beautiful, people. I smell adorable. Like when people come around me, they're like, geez, you just smell delicious. Because I use vanilla and coconut. That's right. native deodorant. I don't smell. It's just, if you're gonna be all natural and you're gonna be healthy and you care about your health, don't stick anything under your arm that has crap in it. If you look at all these deodorants on the shelves in the drugstores, disgusting. And I've tried a million of them. I don't use any of them anymore. I just use native, and it's perfect. They don't test it on animals. They are made in the USA with ingredients that have been sourced from all over the world. They're all natural ingredients, like coconut oil, which is an antimicrobial, shea butter, which is a moisturizer, and it's an emollient, and tapioca starch, which absorbs the wetness. It doesn't have talc in it, doesn't have aluminum, no parabens. And if you read about aluminum, parabens, and talc, you'll see why you shouldn't use them. And there's a lot of research out there that aluminum's been linked to illness and stuff, so you don't want that in your antiperspirant, your deodorant. Use native. This stuff works. Try it out. Go 15, 16 hours. You're going to be really happy. They've got not a million, I'm exaggerating. I'm embellishing, but they've got 5-star reviews all over, so check them out. They've been all over TV, on every TV show. It's just, this is the way everybody should be going. Less ingredients, not going to have to use it as much, and you're not going to mess with aluminum. I wouldn't trust aluminum. There's a lot of research out there. Check it out. See what's going on with your deodorant. See if there's aluminum in it. And it comes in a wide variety of scents, smells for men, women, and they have a new release. They've got a limited edition seasonal scents throughout the year. So they have an unscented formula too, which is like a baking soda free formula for those with sensitivity. So they got a baking soda free formula. They also have unscented, and I like the coconut and vanilla. That's the most popular one. But they've got lavender and rose, cucumber and mint, eucalyptus and mint, and they've got free returns and exchanges in the USA. And if you subscribe, you save 17%. So you save $2 per stick and have native conveniently delivered to your door every 1, 2, 3, or 4 months, which is the best way to go. That's the best way. Just sign up, subscribe, have your deodorant show up, have just a less of a thing you have to worry about in your life. You're going to smell good, you're going to sweat less, and you're going to be so thankful. So do me a favor. Your first purchase, you're going to get 20% off. If you go to Native, that's Native Deodorant, Native deodorant. If you don't know how to spell that, go back to school. It's nativedeodorant.com. Use the promo code WODCAST. You're going to get 20% off. Okay? So I'm telling you, subscribe. Get it delivered. 20% off your first purchase. Nativedeodorant.com. Use the promo code WODCAST. All right? And then thank me.
Yeah, it's funny. Someone, I don't want to name names, but someone was just giving someone else that was on my show shit for like wearing long sleeves, and they actually weren't locking out their arms, but you couldn't see it. And he's like, "There's ways to cheat." And I was like, "Oh, I didn't realize it's this intense."
It's so intense, yeah.
And that's why when everybody talks about, I made a joke yesterday,
and it really doesn't matter. Like that little slight lockout, it's not a big deal. It's just like you're going so fast. Like, I could have done it if you wanted to, but, like, no one else is fucking doing it.
It's weird how much scrutiny.
And I'm just trying to save time.
The scrutiny that everyone's under now.
Yeah.
When some people get a pass and some people get – the same thing happens in my business where –
It doesn't matter anymore, though. I don't give a fuck if you went to the games anymore. Like, what can you do for me? Like, do you make me happy every day when I go on Instagram? Are you teaching me something every day? Like, are you adding to my day at all? Because, like, you going to the games now doesn't mean anything. Like, there's in my gym and every gym in the world, there's like 1% wants to go to the CrossFit Games. It used to be like 90% wanted to go to the CrossFit Games. Yeah. Now it's like, hey man, I just want to look good naked and go to work.
Yep.
And I want to feel good and all that.
Do you think it's that much smaller?
I think it's way smaller.
Do you think that's because people just look at it like it's unattainable now, where before it seemed attainable?
It's way more unattainable now. You have to be number one in the country. Or in your whole country, or you have to win one of those events.
Or do you think people think...
Do you feel good going to an event with like Matt Frazier and Pat Vellner? Like, what are your chances of winning?
Yeah.
Fuck.
Or do you think people go, holy shit, I'm going to end up in a lot of pain later in my life if I do
I don't think a lot of people think about that at all. until you get like in your 30s. Then now I think you're like, maybe I shouldn't do this anymore. But like, I think just getting there now, because I have athletes in my gym who are badasses, like super badass, but they're like, I don't think I'm going to even try anymore. Yeah. Because like there's other things that they want to do that are kind of like on the borderline. They're like, should I be a cop or should I be in the games or this or that? And it's like,
it's good. Cause I always said that from the beginning. I was like,
but it made CrossFit better in the gym. Like the community is cooler now. Because there's not a lot of people staying after, like doing all this extra shit, you know, like thinking that they're going to the games. So I'm happy that those people aren't there anymore.
So am I.
You know what I mean?
So am I.
There's not a lot of big chests and peacocking anymore. It's like you're either there or you're not.
I agree with you. I like that a lot too, because it got intimidating. It got you were like looked down upon, and it's like, I have a fucking life.
Yeah.
Like don't belittle me because I like to do CrossFit, but I'm not at your level.
And it changed the programming for all of us. Like, if you're a gym owner right now and you're doing well, you probably have done like a little bit more strength training and a little bit less Olympic lifting in your classes. You're probably not snatching like 3 days a week like you used to be. Now it's probably a little bit more bench and squats and presses and stuff, which is what we do at Chalk. And I do like a lot more fun workouts. We do team workouts, all that. And it's the community is building so much better, in my opinion.
Yeah. I used to hate team workouts. Now I love them.
It's the best.
I hated them years ago. I was always like, this is about me. I don't give a fuck about you. And you're going to take away from my workout. Now I go in, I go, you know what? Like, I'm still going to get to push as hard as I want to during this workout. I might have to pick up some of the slack, or somebody might pick it up for me. But it's like, I'm going to get through it faster. It makes it more different.
It's a little more accountability.
Yeah.
Because now you're in a class, so now you're accountable because you have to do what's on the board.
Yeah.
But now you don't want to let your buddy down either.
Yeah.
So now it's like, all right, I have to get all of this done.
Yeah.
And I just feel like the more accountability you have, the better results you're going to get.
So you even do them? You're not just like a Saturday?
Dude, I fucking do all workouts in my gym all the time.
No, but I'm saying you don't program team on Saturday? Like,
I do team on Saturday in the gym. Yeah, that's actually what we do. Yeah, always.
Oh, but you don't. What I was saying is a lot of gyms, Saturdays, the team workout. Do you do like Wednesday or Thursday team stuff?
Sometimes I'll randomly yeah. And I have 2 different classes. I have a class called Sweat where we don't really use any barbells, but it's still super hard. Like dumbbells, kettlebells, all the cardio stuff. If we do barbells, it's like simple stuff. Front squats, lunges.
Are you in Costa Mesa? Where is your gym?
Costa Mesa, Newport border.
Okay.
And it's like 5,500 square feet.
It's really beautiful.
Yeah, it's a beautiful spot.
Beautiful.
I got really lucky.
Yeah, it's gorgeous.
My space actually wasn't for rent. We told the people before us to leave.
What do you mean?
We're like, we'll give you, 6 figures to get out of here. And then they left.
And then where did you have 6 figures to give them? I mean, like
my business partner made MySpace and sold his portion for 5 millions. Not 5 million, but like 5 digits of millions, like 55 million, I think I want to say.
That's insane. Who? Tom's your business partner?
So Tom invented it, and Aaron Sloman made the operating software, who's my partner.
Okay.
And he's insane.
I know Tom.
Do you actually know him?
So MySpace years ago put me on this like TV show, and they had a contest for stand-up comedians, and I didn't want to do it. And my managers at the time were like, "You should do it. You should do it." And I was like, "I don't want to do it." It was like the open kind of. You put yourself online, and the next thing I know, I'm at the HBO Just for Laughs, or not Just for Laughs. I was at HBO Comic Relief, and I'm sitting there thanks to MySpace with like Robin Williams and Whoopi Goldberg and all these people, and they had me do the show, and I thought nothing of it. I didn't win. This guy Steve Byrne won, got a sitcom called Sullivan and Sons out of it, and years later, I'm on Twitter and I get a follow by Tom from MySpace. Tom, I forget Tom's last name, and I'm like, look, I'm like, somebody's fucking stole Tom's profile, and I'm like, it's Tom. And then I look and I'm like, start scrolling through, and I'm like, this is fucking Tom. This is Tom. So I'm at a wedding and I tell somebody, I'm like, hey, Tom from MySpace follows me on Twitter. They're like, yeah, bullshit. And I'm like, he does, watch. I'm like, here he is, right here. This is him. And I'm like, I don't know why he's following me. And they're like, send him a DM. So I go, hey, Tom, what's up?
That's it? That's all you said?
2 seconds later, nothing. What are you doing? And I'm like, I'm just at a wedding in Atlanta. What are you doing? He's like, I'm in Hawaii right now, and I'm I spend a lot of time over here. I like to take photos and stuff. And I was like, so I'm like, start writing back, and somebody goes, you're getting catfished. This isn't Tom. And I'm like, I go, just weird question, Tom. Why are you following me? And he goes, Oh, I remember when you did the MySpace challenge, and I always thought you were really funny. And I did meet him briefly after the thing. In fact, and he goes, "And I just always follow in your career and see." And I went, so then I just every once in a while just send him a message. And when I was in Hawaii, he was like, "Why don't you come out to my show?" And blah blah blah. But the MySpace world, talk about up and down.
Dude.
It's the most insane. I've talked about doing a documentary about it. No one's ever done it.
Yeah, it's insane.
What's your partner do now?
Dude, he was telling me parties back in the day that they used to do in Vegas and like all this crazy shit. I was like, oh my God, that sounds amazing. But he, anyway, he does consulting for like huge companies.
Yeah.
And I was like kind of a fun little project for him. And we did incredibly well, and he's happy. I've paid him all of his money back. And
it's hard to do what you've done then. Because
Yeah.
I don't know many gym owners that have really made a good profit in CrossFit.
Well, I still tell people, like, 'cause I get tons of kids that hit me up because I think when you think of like owning a gym, I think you think of like me and you think of Jason Khalipa and like, you know, people who are kind of like running a great business and also talking about it all the time. I mean, obviously Froning has a great business and stuff too, but you don't hear him like talking about his business. He's kind of always talking about workouts and stuff, which is still great. But it's just kind of, that's his thing, right? I just don't think about him as a great business owner, even though he is. It's just that I think of him for workouts more than anything else. But I do think that people think of me and Khalipa in the business sense, and also Brick CrossFit, so JP. I think people think about him too. But anyway, where the fuck was I going with that?
How you've made money doing it.
Oh, so people reach out to me and they're like, I really want to open a gym and all this stuff, and I'm like, hey, just before you do this, let me tell you something real quick. And I know I shouldn't tell you this, but I want you to know that my monthly salary that I make at the gym, my monthly salary I make in a day in online sales. Like between online programs, challenges, books that I sell, you know, whatever consultations I do with people or whatever it is, my monthly salary I hit every day. Do you want that as your life salary?
I'm confused. You make your monthly salary
in a day on other things.
Oh, I get what you're saying now.
So if my monthly salary is like X, I make that X every day.
Sure. I see that. And I see it with a lot of gym owners. I will talk to guys who will tell me, you know, who have beautiful, amazing gyms. And they're like, yeah, there's no profit here.
Yeah.
I'm making all my money in other places.
Yeah.
It's kind of a vanity project.
Yeah. I tell people it's like when you're shopping and you see something in the window and you're like, holy shit, that looks really cool. I want to walk in that store. That's what the gym is. It's the dress in the window.
Yeah.
And then everything else in the store is all the other stuff you're trying to sell people.
I was in the late 90s, the early 2000s. I lived in New York City. And there was a Wall Street boom at that time. And all my Wall Street buddies, they were all traders or wannabe traders or like working their way up. And their thing to do with their extra cash, you know, they had 10 or 20 grand sitting in the bank. They all bought bars together. Like 10 guys would buy a bar.
That's funny. I actually had somebody on my podcast who did that, and he was a broker.
Yeah, and they all would buy bars because it was like the thing to do then. And every guy wanted to own a bar. And they would go.
They all went out of fucking business, though.
They did.
Yeah.
Because the restaurant business is so hard. But, you know, and there'd probably be one guy that was a 50% owner. And then he'd get all these other guys together in a syndicate that would give him money to be investors. And then they could come to the bar, and they didn't realize they would come to the bar bringing all their friends going, this is my bar.
And never pay for anything.
They would drink free, but they were bringing, say they brought 10 friends, their 10 friends would bring 10 friends. So they might be drinking free, but those 10, it was like they were a promoter. So they were paying money to be a promoter of a bar. And they never saw, I'd go, do you see, oh, every once in a while I get a check. And I'm like, they're like, I always know I'll get my 10 or 20 grand back, but yeah, sometimes they send me like $1,000 here, $2,000 there, but there was no money in it.
Mm-hmm.
And I equate that to what CrossFit gyms were. It was like, you used to want to own a bar. Now you want to own a gym because as a population, we've moved from like partying to health. And everybody's like...
Everybody still wants to own a gym. Everybody's like, let's open another gym. I'm like, no, I don't want to. I don't want to. Like, it's instant. I'm like, no, not at all. It's almost like an ex-girlfriend. Like, hey, want to get back together? I'm like, no, I do not.
I went down that road like wanting, but I never wanted to open a gym. I wanted a co-op. I was like, let's all just pitch in and own a gym that we can go to anytime, and we own the place, but we're not like looking for members. It's like our private club.
Yeah.
Where we can all work out because I don't have space in my house. And I was living in
like a little 1,200 square foot spot. It's got like, 3 assault bikes, 3 ski ergs, 3 rowers, all the weights.
And we all pay dues.
Yeah.
And you can bring a friend by, and work out.
You probably get rent for that for like $2,000.
And it's your place. It's like, hey, come check out my fucking gym.
That would be sick.
Yeah. And then you're not...
You could probably have one trainer in there training people to just pay for it.
And you don't have to worry about
yeah.
all the profitability that's probably not going to happen. Because
you're 100% correct.
I'm friends with so many guys that are just struggle, and they're looking for the way or their end game. And I'm like... and I've talked to so many guys on the show, and they figuring ways out the exit strategy. Like, what am I going to do? I'm selling this one off, or I'm selling... The guys that own multiples, and... It's like, wait.
The worst part is
you weren't making money with one. You want to own 3?
Yeah, why? I don't understand. I think everyone thinks that that's the epitome of wealth for them is going to be like multiple locations, and I'm like, I know so many. I mean, living in Newport Beach has been an amazing thing for me because everybody you meet is just they're just incredibly successful in something, you know?
Yeah.
And I mean, if you have enough friends around there, you're going to be successful. Just
But you got a lot of trust funders.
By association. Oh, there's an amazing amount of them.
And they're pretty annoying.
Yeah. As long as if they can't hold a conversation for like more than like, I don't know, 15 seconds, you're like, okay, this person's never worked ever.
Because I've got some friends who live down there that I grew up with that are trust funders. And I'll be like, what do you do now? And they're like, dude, I collect skateboards.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, but what do you do for a living? And they're like, well, I'm buying a new house. And I'm like, I didn't ask, what are you doing for a living? And they're like, I invest money. And I'm like, on what? They're like, I don't know. My broker does it for me. And I'm like, so you don't do anything. You're just a piece of shit.
This is so average to me. Like, there's so many 40-year-old men in my gym. 40-year-old men. And I'll be like, what do you do for a living? They're like, oh, my dad owns this giant construction company. And I'm like, so what do you do for a living? So, I used to work for him, and now he just told me, like, I probably shouldn't come, so he just gives me a check.
I know.
I'm like, all right, so you were so full retard that, like,
I live in Malibu, so I know.
Or something like that.
I live in the hills above Malibu, and everybody there...
Oh, so do you live near Hunter?
Yeah, really close.
Like, how close?
It's weird. As a crow flies, I can get there on my mountain bike faster than I could on the roads. Like, I rode through the mountain... He's really close. He's like one mountain over. But
he's just one mountain over. How many places can you say that?
You got to go down a canyon. Then on the PCH, then back up a canyon.
His canyon's pretty rough.
His is fucking crazy.
It's ridiculous canyon. And I've driven up. Ever driven up with him when he's going fast?
I drive just as fast.
It's potentially the most terrifying thing I've ever done.
Yeah, we race up that road.
Yeah.
And for those of you listening, thinking that's dangerous, it's a private road. And
no, it is dangerous.
It's so dangerous.
Yeah, there's definitely parts where it's not okay.
Here's a funny story. After the fires, then the floods. Floods happen right after. I'm driving through, and I've got 4-wheel drive, and I'm like, and I'm going, and I love crazy driving. I'm like, this is death. Like, this is the most deadliest drive I've ever taken. I get up to his house, and I forget what we were doing. We were hanging out, and he goes, yeah, I've got some chick coming over. And I go,
standard.
I go, she's coming here? And he goes, yeah. I go, how's she? I hope she's taking a helicopter. And he goes, no, she's driving up. I go, in what?
Yeah, a Corolla.
She's got like a Prius or something. I go, Hunter.
There's no way.
She's going to die.
Yeah.
I'm like, the roads were falling down off the...
At least when she gets there, you're going to get some...
I know.
Something really good's going to happen. Because if she drove up that fucking hill in that car...
I go, Hunter... Call her and tell her not to come. You're going to kill this girl. And he goes, she'll be fine. And then, sure enough, like an hour later, she shows up and she's like sweating and her eyes are like, she's like, oh my God, I thought I was going to die. Come on. And Hunter's like, yeah, you're okay.
Hunter's wearing like a fucking disco outfit.
Yeah. Ready to be in his weird party world.
So weird.
So weird. We weren't going to talk about him. We swore we weren't going to talk about Hunter. Every episode I end up talking about that.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I love him, but I
Same.
Also love to
I'm going to the games just to watch him.
My problem is, and I still, at CrossFit, I don't know what's going on. I haven't found my media pass yet.
I got mine.
Yeah, I don't know what's happening. I asked for one, but I asked like 2 days ago.
Oh, okay. You got a little bit of time.
Okay, so...
mine took a week.
My problem is I've got shows Thursday, Friday, Saturday of that week, and they're saying like the media pass is for Thursday, Friday, Saturday, so there's no event on Wednesday.
Ooh, I don't know. I didn't even look.
I want to go see at least one event. I don't want to go when everybody's like getting ready. I thought about going to do interviews, but I kind of want to see. And now, so yesterday I posted on Morning Chalk Up, wrote, I was in the hospital with my wife, and they wrote that posting that said CrossFit plans on eliminating
half the field.
Half the field. And I said, what are they going to do? Have a drug test?
That's actually pretty funny.
It's the first event, a drug test. and everybody just started like
dying.
But I started to see comments of guys going, good, I hope fucking Hunter McIntyre gets knocked out in that first. And I was like, what if it's a half marathon? He'll win. Like, fuck face.
Yeah.
And like, I hate that people equate strength with fitness. Like, strength is the only entity of fitness.
Well, I don't give a fuck what anybody thinks about Hunter. I mean, because, I had to overcome a shit ton of adversity in my career as well. But the thing is this. That motherfucker was a world champion in obstacle course racing. And so, yeah, they gave the wild card to him. But if anyone deserved it, it was him.
And the only people I could see having an argument against it is maybe someone like a Ben Smith that didn't qualify or someone like that.
Yeah, for sure. I would be bummed if I was Ben or something.
But if you're a guy, and you're listening right now, because I know some of these guys listen, if you're a guy that maybe you're the strongest guy at your gym, but there's no fucking chance of you going to the games, I hate to tell you this. Yeah. Hunter would crush you in everything.
Yeah.
So don't feel like he took your spot and that you've worked so hard. That guy has worked hard his whole life to get where he is.
And he's purposely trying really hard the last 2 years just to be part of CrossFit. It's definitely not a new thing that he was like, I want to do this. Like, he's been wanting to do it for a while.
Yeah. And he comes from a different world. And I think he might, if it's fair, if they program it fair and not against him, I think he'll do pretty well. Like, what better than people think?
If they do what Glassman originally wanted, which I think they might, like if they get rid of a lot of the heavy stuff and they just do sheer CrossFit stuff, like he could do really well.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which would be fun to see.
Yeah, would be really fun. And also, because I think what happened, I said it from day one, and I don't know if it helped you or hurt you. When I got into CrossFit, I liked the calisthenic aspect of it. I liked the weightlifting, but I left a Globo Gym. I left Gold's Gym because I looked around at the juice heads, at these fucking gigantic guys, and I was like, I'll never be that. I never want to be that.
Yeah, I don't even
And
want
I didn't
to.
think those guys could do the things they did. So like when those guys started invading CrossFit gyms, I didn't know that you can be that big and have an engine. And I watched guys that are 200 pounds, 250 pounds with start running faster than me and climbing more than me. And I went, oh, I didn't know this was possible. I thought you had to be a smaller guy that was more agile that could, and all of a sudden, so they kind of confused the whole paradigm for me. But then I felt like once they figured out they could do these things, like they could build up a conditioning and build up an engine, it started skewing way more towards let's be as strong as fucking possible. And, oh, yeah, we'll add this conditioning component to it. But then when it ultimately came down to it, so let's go see those guys run a marathon, they couldn't do it. And so they didn't have all aspects of fitness. They were still lacking in certain departments.
But everybody was still pretty healthy and nobody was working out multiple times a day yet.
Do you remember the Tahoe thing?
Yeah, I remember
all that
stuff.
Where they sat at that round table?
Yep.
And they said, how many times do you work out a day? And someone said 3. And I think it was, what's his name?
Blair Morrison?
No, the guy from Big Sideburns, lived in New Zealand.
Oh.
Patrick.
Barber.
Pat Barber.
Pat Barber.
Somebody goes, they go, how many times do you work out a day? And somebody goes, he goes, Castro goes, who here works out twice a day? And a lot of guys raise their hand. And he goes, anybody 3 times? A whole bunch of people raised their hand. And Patrick Barber went, what the fuck?
Yeah. And Spieler at the time, he had been to the games a bunch of times. He was only 1 time a day.
Yeah. Well, that's what I got into it for. I was like, oh, they've created this efficient workout that I don't have to work out. I don't have to spend the whole day in the gym.
That's
like
the whole purpose of it.
Yeah.
Glassman was training people in Gold's Gym.
Yeah.
And he was like, how could I get more clients and get them better results and make more money?
And be efficient.
Yeah. So he went from, 1 client an hour to 3 clients an hour, and they were doing 20-minute WODs.
Yeah.
And then, he was like, holy shit, everyone looks even better. They're going faster. They're getting it done in 20. They're out of here. I got the next person.
Yeah.
And then he's like, oh, there's something to this.
I said that to my father-in-law.
And everybody fucking forgets that. And it drives me nuts.
My father-in-law played NFL football, and he's a big dude. And we were working out yesterday together. And I threw him one of the bands. I have a home gym, and I threw him a band, and I had him do a couple things. And I go, with a good coach, you can do a whole fucking workout with this band that you will kill yourself. And all it takes is this little band.
Yep.
And I said, and I think this needs to be said more in this business, because I think I'm not blaming Rogue or the games. I'm just saying the evolution of CrossFit, this happened, and this can help CrossFit. Would you rather go to the best gym in the world with the shittiest coach, or the shittiest gym in the world with the best coach? If you were training for sport specific or to be fit, would you rather go to the nicest gym with the shittiest coach, and you're trying to achieve this, or the shittiest gym and the best coach? Which would you do?
So my goal is what?
Your goal is to achievement. You want to achieve, let's say you want to be in the Olympics, you want to be
best coach for sure,
fittest,
100%.
You want to be the fittest guy, you want to get in shape.
Best coach, 100%.
Exactly. And that's what I remember CrossFit being. It was all about the coaching, not about the gym. And somehow it got lost in this.
And now it's the opposite.
You need 12 sets of dumbbells and 55s, 45s, 35s. You need 7 GHD machines. You need 17 rowers. You've just become a Globo Gym.
Mm-hmm.
Your own sort, and there's no profitability in that. When I know I could go, if I went to you and I said, Ryan, just make me fucking fit, and you'd be like, okay, meet me outside your house, and I'm gonna have you do a workout in your neighborhood, and I'm gonna kick the shit out of you.
Yeah.
Because you could.
Mm-hmm.
Because I watch Kenny Kane do it all the time to some of his, actors and stuff.
Yeah.
And I just think that needs to be brought back to this, rethink the whole thing. And we sell your shit.
Sell yourself. Yeah. Everybody.
Sell your equipment and get yourself back to coaching and good functional movement. And you don't need... I just go in these gyms all the time, and I'm like, where, I think it's also like owning shit, like you want the nicer car, you want the TV, you want the bigger TV, if you own a gym, it's like we go back to with the bars. You're like, oh, I really want that erg. I want that.
Yep.
Oh, I want that. Did you see that? Oh, I got to get that bar. I've got to get that bar too. Oh, they're using chains. We got to get chains. And it's hard to stop buying that shit.
It is.
We're in a capitalist society where it's like buy.
I have coaches all the time. They're like, hey, can we get this one thing? I'm like, no. I'm like, look, we can't get anything unless we can get 10 of it. And it has to be stored and everyone has to like it. Like, can we get a fat bar? No. Because 10 people don't want a fat bar. You know what I mean? Can we get 10 rowers? Absolutely. I'll get 10 rowers.
Yeah, you're going to use
I'll get 10 skis. I'll get 10 bikes. Like things that we can use, that everyone can use. I'll never forget being part of a CrossFit gym, and at the time everybody had rowers and nobody had bikes yet. But like a few people had a bike or two, And then like somebody's knee would hurt or something, so they couldn't go on the rower and they'd use the bike. And everybody was like, oh man, he gets to use the bike, And it's just like, or like there'd be a competitor on the bike and you'd be like, think I can use it? And it's like this mysterious thing over it, and it's like a fucking snow leopard in the corner of the gym, It's like you only see it every once in a while. And like if it's no one's on it, you're like so excited. And I was like, I don't ever want my gym to be like that. I never want to have anything in the gym that's a novelty piece of equipment. It should all be usable for everyone.
My gym is my garage, and
is it nice?
You have
a lot of stuff in there.
Yeah, and
cool.
But I decided I'm not going to have a rower and a bike. I'm getting one of the two, and so I went online and
I'd go neither and go ski erg.
Really?
Yeah.
Shut up.
Did you buy it already?
I've had the bike for years.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say I like the ski because you can bolt it against the wall. It takes up no space.
Sure.
And it's the only thing in CrossFit that like doesn't use your legs. You get that lat and abs. It's lats and abs, and it's like just such an amazing it's my favorite piece of equipment.
See, but I feel like the bike is that you're hitting everything.
You are, and you're getting super winded, but
Yeah,
you're
super winded.
burning your legs, you know?
Yeah, you do.
But we do all these squat cleans and wall balls
Sure.
and this and that and thrusters and blah, blah, blah. So then I'm like, I just love the ski because it's like the one thing it's like the one motion we just don't do unless you're doing pull-ups.
I used to watch James Newberry. I work out in his gym a lot when I'm in Australia, and I'd watch him on the bike all the time. And I hate to give it away, but I always used to say to him, I'm like, that's your fucking secret weapon, isn't it? Like, he would just murder that bike on a daily basis. And I watched him go from like not making the games to making the games to 24th
doing
to
well.
10th. And now he's killing it. And I'm like, I hate to give away James's secret, but get your fucking ass on that bike.
Yeah.
Because that bike, when I am in a workout and they're like, and then you're going to do 10 calories on the bike and 4 rounds, I'm like, oh, fuck.
Funny enough, it actually came into the sport because actually it started with Jim Jones, which is
really?
Mark, you know Mark Twight?
Yeah.
And he trained all those people for the movie 300, and it was the first time anybody had ever seen a movie where everybody had abs, and everybody was like, "What the fuck happened to this movie and the people in this movie?" So then they traced it back to the trainer, and it was Mark Twight, and they went into the gym, and there was all these assault bikes. And if you asked Mark, like, why do you have these versus other things that people have going on, these look like grandma bikes that people use, which at the time they were. And he's like, well, you see fighters and stuff fighting all the time. You see them with the bags and stuff. But you never see them in the gym. He's like, go look at their gyms. All of them have this fucking bike.
Oh, interesting.
So then he got them for his clients, and then everybody was just literally becoming mutants. And then CrossFit and Mark Twain had a fallout. And I think at some point someone was like, you know what? I think we should start using these things.
Yeah.
And then they did, and they were falling apart all the time. And then Assault Bike's like, all right, we're going to make a cooler version of it, make it a little more durable. And they did. And then now that's like the standard.
They're miserable.
And then Rogue made a new one, which is a complete fucking nightmare.
The Rogue one's no good?
I hate it. It's awful.
What's the Rogue one called?
It's too big. It's like it's the Rogue Eco Bike, they call it.
Oh yeah, I know it.
But it looks just like the Assault Bike, but it's a lot bigger. If you're a girl and you're like 5 feet tall, you can't even use it.
Yeah.
It's too big. And it has a belt versus a chain, so like the harder you go, it just like keeps sucking the life out of you. Like when you go really fast on the Assault Bike, you kind of get that coast effect.
Yeah.
You get a couple extra calories. Nope, not on that.
Nothing.
So it's like
I've been on it.
It's really depressing. I don't really like it.
It is depressing, and it's hard. And
But the Assault Bike is legitimately my favorite piece of equipment. If it's like, all right, I have 30 minutes, or I have 20 minutes, or I have 10 minutes, whatever it is.
4 minutes. If you tell somebody go do a Tabata on that, and
oh yeah, for sure,
and all out every 20 seconds. I want 20 seconds where you're going as hard as you can, and just watch them fall on the ground and shake and fucking.
My first workout on an Assault Bike or on a Schwinn Aerodyne ever was Tabata, and it was in Jim Jones in Utah, and it was one of the instructors there worked out with me at Ute CrossFit with Tommy, and Tommy was always going over there to work out because it just got him out of the gym, which I now understand because you can't work out in your own gym.
Yeah.
Anyway, my first workout ever was Tabata, and I fucking projectile vomited like 8 feet. Dude, you're talking like, it looked like dragon fire coming out.
Hilarious.
I was good. Like the last 2 rounds, I was like, and then, like the athlete inside of me, I was like, I'm going to finish it. And I'm literally on the bike, and I just put my head to the side. Dude, I was projectile vomiting.
No matter how fit you are, if you're doing it right, if you're going max effort, you're going to murder yourself.
Yeah.
So I
don't know what
funny,
it is.
I forget what it is, but I have the number at my house, and everybody puts their number up on. I have a whiteboard, and I try to get people to do it. I go, come try to break my calories that I get in a Tabata, and I've done it to like Crazy Bobby, who Hunter's friend Bobby.
Mm-hmm.
I've done it to Crazy Bobby. Crushed me on it. Like I thought, there's no way Bobby's going to beat my number, and he crushed me.
Hunter probably get a good score.
Hunter gets a really good score.
What are we talking about in 4 minutes? What are we getting?
I forget what it is. I forget what my number is, but
and it's on an Assault Bike, yeah.
Yeah, but it's try to get your highest number of calories in a Tabata. But you can't. The thing is,
so 20 seconds, you're probably getting 10 cals a pop, maybe. So 8 rounds, you're probably getting at best like 60 to 80 cals.
No, more.
Is it more?
Yeah, I forget what it is. I think I have a picture of my whiteboard. I could look.
If you got 100 calories in 4 minutes, that would be gnarly.
You might be right. It might be like whatever my number is, it's not impressive at all. But Bobby's was pretty impressive, and because Bobby's older too. Hunter, is a freak. But I've had some other people over, and it's funny to do because everybody goes into it thinking
First round.
This isn't going to be bad.
Not that bad.
When they get to like round 7, they look like
Pale
they're in labor.
Casper.
Yeah. And little things like that, I just wish were part of. I've always said I would love to see the Vortex be an event in the games, the 1.5 miles, where you run 1.5 miles and every minute you have to do 10 push-ups, and then the next minute 20 squats. And so the faster you get it done, the less squats and push-ups you have to do. But you can get caught in the Vortex. I've said this a million times. I would love to see it. It'd be the best thing to do the first round of the games. And you could see, because you
Wait, it's every minute you have to do it?
So 1.5 miles, at the minute mark, you do 10 push-ups.
Yep.
The clock keeps going.
Every minute, yeah.
Next minute, 20 squats, air squats.
Yep.
Next minute, 10 push-ups.
Okay. And then 20 and 10 and 20.
You'd be surprised. The push-ups start fucking with you really badly because you're getting down. It's almost like you're doing a burpee, too. There's one burpee in that. You're getting down, 10 push-ups back up. The squats, you can almost manage, but they start to get tiring. And if you lose it, the next thing you know, you only have, you start out, you've got 50 seconds.
And it's 1.5 miles, not a mile.
Exactly.
I like that.
And you've got 50 seconds to run. Next thing you know, you got 40. You're 30. You're down to 20.
Oh.
You're down to 10 seconds.
It's like Inception.
Yeah, and that's what it's called, the vortex, because you don't want to
Yeah.
get caught in it where you've got 2 seconds and you're doing push-ups, and then you're caught and you can't finish it. So obviously there's CrossFit. You probably could do it. Got a lot of guys could do it, but how fast are you going to do 1.5 miles with 10 and 20? And what a great way to prove fucking fitness. And
That actually would be a relatively, if you think about it, it doesn't matter how tall you are, it doesn't matter how short you are, it's an even event.
Yeah.
That would be a dope first. I'm really excited to see the first event, because if they're going to eliminate half the field, it's got to be a pretty solid event.
I think, and what's your prediction?
I really have no idea.
I think it's going to go one of two ways. I think it's going to be either, I would like to see some kind of long distance endurance event so I can see Hunter stand, but I have a feeling it's going to be a snatch ladder, something like that, where they just
it
line
could be a
them all
lift,
up.
but a lift would just highlight the strong people.
That's what I think is going to happen, though.
I think honestly, if it was me programming it, I would do pretty much, it would be Hunter's bread and butter, but I would do the mile run and the max deadlift. Like it's a good idea. In like a 10-minute window or something. Like you have to 10-minute time cap, you have to hit a max deadlift and run a mile, and they're both separate events.
But think how easy it is to set up all the barbells and just have them go through, where they go, get in line.
But a mile is nothing to set up. Even if it's a 400-meter run and you watch everybody run.
But I think Castro's programming.
Is he?
I'm almost positive he is.
There was something
he released something of a. I've heard both. There's so many rumors.
I heard it's 50-50. I heard Glassman has to like approve it before it goes.
Oh, really?
That's what I heard.
I did not hear that. But you hear these different rumors, and it's amazing the people that I'll talk to that were high up at CrossFit, and they're like, I don't fucking know anything. They're like, I don't even know if the game's going to happen. I don't know. Like, I got in the mail like 500 CrossFit T-shirts, and they're like, hey, can you just like give these out to your fans? And I was like, no. What has happened? Like, this whole thing is, who's running it and no one's commentating. It's like,
actually,
no. Like, if you want to do, they'll give you the feed and you can commentate to your fans.
Interesting.
So what they want is, they want to outsource all the media to everyone else. Let everybody else do it for them. Why should they spend the money on it when people like you and I would do it for them?
They're really getting greedy with this thing. No more regionals, no more announcers.
Let everybody else.
Let's not stay in LA. Let's go to Wisconsin.
Let's not make any.
Let's just fucking.
I think it was hemorrhaging money, and they don't want to spend any more money.
And they wonder why CrossFit's like going down.
Yeah, but I think
they got rid of their fucking Instagram.
I think he thinks
Facebook.
That wasn't making us any money.
Who cares? It was like
a lost leader, kind of like your gym is for you.
Yeah. But even still, you think about it, though, I mean, not having social media is like suicide. I mean, that's fucking terrible.
It is and it isn't. I think everybody, like, did you see Kenny Kane's whole thing about leaving social media? I got to post it. Kenny made this video basically saying that Oak Park Fitness is off of social media because, and he made a really good point, they're about health. They're about health. Their job is to promote people's health, and he does not believe health contributes to people's success in fitness and health, and he thinks it's a detriment. So he is not going to participate in, like, Oak Park's not going to have an Instagram, they're not going to have a YouTube, they're not going to have a Facebook account. They're done with all that because he thinks the time you could be spending on there, you could spend meditating, lifting, running, stretching, swim, whatever you need to do, and resting your mind, and all these things prove to create anxiety, depression, all these. And so he's.
But that's like telling a girl that, if you lift heavy weights, you're going to get super jacked.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They're just going to believe whatever you tell them.
I know, but Kenny wants to be one of these guys
starting the movement.
Yeah, forging forward.
Yeah.
and clearing that path. And I agree with them. And
I used to like not having a cell phone too, but now it's like I can't.
Impossible. I have friends.
Do you remember fucking just like telling your friend to like go meet you somewhere and like he had to be there?
It was great. I look back and I miss it.
You had no choice.
I miss it. Do
you remember calling a girl on the phone and you get the dad and you're like, fuck.
Oh. Or how about when you were talking?
Now you just send a dick pic and it's over.
How about when you were talking to the girl and you'd hear someone pick up the phone?
Yep.
Or in your house, you're like, hey, Mom, get off the phone. Mom, I know you're on there. Get off the phone, Mom. And you just didn't want them to know who you were talking to.
Yeah, of course.
Kids are never going to know
that. Yeah, they'll never know that, ever.
Yeah, although they have a whole different thing. My sister has 3 kids.
Dude, I used to be on fucking dial-up, like, waiting to jerk off for, like... I'd be like, when this fucking internet goes through, I'm going to jerk off so fucking hard. You know what I mean? And it'd be like... And then, like... I'd be like, yeah, big black fucking dick porn, whatever. Like, watch this chick get DP'd, and I'm like, when this shit loads, I'm fucking gonna blast a load all over this room. You know what I mean?
That would buffer halfway through.
Like, oh yeah, the chick opens her mouth, and all of a sudden it's frozen. I'm like, oh yeah, that's fine. I can work with this.
When the internet, I can't believe I'm admitting this. When the internet first came out, I was there AOL, and I was like, what is it? Because I knew about this thing called LexisNexis, which was like before the internet, where you could like research shit, and I found it cool that you could find any article you wanted, and I was like, oh, this is great. Then the internet, you could communicate with people, and
you go to those chat rooms?
I found right away, I couldn't find any chicks on the internet, so I went to the lesbian chat rooms.
Oh, perfect.
And I would talk and pretend like I was a lesbian, and then afterwards I realized it was just me and a bunch of other dudes pretending to be lesbian.
My God, scissoring with dicks.
and I'd be like, what are you doing? Oh, I'm caressing my breast. Now I'm touching my penis. I mean vagina. I'm touching my pussy. And so
I remember my friends being like, I had cyber sex with this chick. I'm like, oh my God.
No, you didn't.
I'm like, I wonder what that's like.
Yeah, because no chicks are on there. When guys used to say that to me, I'm like, how many strip clubs are there where women go? And they're like... yeah, they don't exist. They go to a Chippendale show once every 10 years, but they don't.
That's a really good point.
So
all the chicks on Bumble and Tinder are actually guys.
I would be really fucking scared.
We could start just turning this next 30 minutes into comedy because I'm ready to go.
Yeah. Well, they're about. What time is it? I'm wondering how close we are to showtime.
We're 7:27.
We're at the Laugh Factory in Long Beach right now, where I'm performing. I want to get to though, because Hunter's like, Fischer's killing it. He's fucking killing it. Your programming business is taking off. Like, that's where you're really killing it right now.
The programming is probably 40% of total income. I have like these big challenges. It's called Carb Cycling.
Okay.
And it's basically a fancy word for just kind of, a pendulum effect in your carbohydrates that you're going to eat every day.
Yeah.
It works out for probably 95% of people who do it. They just get in really great shape. And I think that there's so many diets out there right now, keto and this and that, and all of them are really hard to follow in the long term. So I made this, template that is pretty easy to follow. Everyone's getting crazy results. I told everyone I give them $1,000 if you make it in the top 3. I do weekly check-ins personally, the live video on Facebook, and I answer everybody's questions. And I literally answer a lot of questions every Monday. I give everybody a free book of training. They get free Chalk online programming for the month. They get a free book and that. Discounts on supplements, the whole deal. It's great. And that's probably my number one thing that makes me the most of my income. And then Chalk Online is second. And then books are third.
So it's kind of like a whole life challenge. I mean, it's a different version of a whole life challenge, something that you can manage yourself online, and you don't just go out to the 20 people at your gym. You're going out to the whole World Wide Web.
It started at the gym, and I was excited. Like I'm like every couple months I would do it. You couldn't do it every month because I only have 300 members in the gym,
Yeah.
so you'd burn out of them pretty quick because all my members pretty much stay forever.
Right.
So I the most I'd ever get is like 100, and then I started selling books, and I realized that I hired an ad agency.
Did you write a book?
I have like 7 now.
Are you serious?
7
I
or
didn't
8
know
books
that.
now. Yeah. Do you know the guy Richard Diaz, who was one of
Yeah.
the coaches
I know
for
Rich.
Hunter?
He's been on the show.
Me and him just made this thing called the Dark Horse Programming, and it's his own twist on how to train for an event and get the best score possible based off of heart rate. And it's literally
That's interesting because I do heart rate training. I'd love to read it.
Dude, I gotta check. Maybe I can airdrop it to you, but literally it is the sickest program. Like, it's gonna blow like Hinshaw, all these people out of the water. It's like it's a whole new way of training. It's not as painful as all these other ways, and you're getting a better result at the end.
Yeah.
So him and I just made this book, and it's doing really well.
These all online books? Are they?
These are all online books. That particular one comes with a running video with Rich, where I'm running on his machine, and he goes over every single part of how to run. So I'm teaming up on things like that, which are making me really excited. It's fun for me. And then I have these like whole like genre of books called high intensity interval bodybuilding. I stole the high intensity interval training, the HIIT training, and then I just added CrossFit and bodybuilding together, and I just called it HIB. And like those things are selling like crazy. And I understand that a lot of people don't have a lot of equipment. So I have dumbbell books, kettlebell books, all these different things.
And the good thing about those, I always say about internet books, that's where all books should be because you can edit them. As you find something changes, you can add to it and amend it. Like, oh yeah, we thought this back then, but we found out differently because the study showed this. So now we advise you do this instead. Because I've seen so many people get mad at like Rob Wolf for, hey, you said that we should use branched chain amino acids, or we should use more omega-3 fatty acids, and now studies show, and it's like, okay, well, we like Stan Efferden I had on who did the vertical diet. He's like, I amend everything.
Yep.
And I tell you, okay, we're evolving, we're learning, and here's your version.
And then you send that out to everybody.
Rather than medical schools who have these books that are 25 years old, and they're like, you do the incision here. And then the doctor's like, well, that's where I learned. Well, that we learned fucking 20 years ago is not the way to do it. So,
well, dude, I started selling like thousands of books. I was like, holy shit. And then all of a sudden I was like, I had all these emails, and I was like, hey, do you guys want to do this challenge? I do it at my gym. Got like a fucking 1,000 people on my first one. Went from like 100 to 1,000 people, and I was like, holy shit. And then, 1,000 people get good results. It's not like I scammed everybody. So all of a sudden, they're all on Instagram like, holy fuck, look what happened, blah, blah, blah. There's always before and after photos. Before I know it, dude, I had movie stars, CEOs, professional fucking football athletes, NBA athletes, all these people that are like getting on the challenge now. It's insane.
That's awesome.
It's literally like its own
so
fucking...
what's it called exactly?
It's called the Carb Cycling Challenge.
And what is the carb cycling?
So like a couple days a week you have like a low carb day, and then a couple days a week you have a high carb day.
Oh, and I'll bet Hunter loves that because he loves his fucking carbs.
He does. So, I mean, it's a medium fat kind of a diet. So like a lot of diets, typically you either choose high fat or you choose high carb.
Something's wrong with your mic right now. I don't know what, somehow.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, it just started to static.
Oh, okay. We good?
Yeah. Yeah, it's good now.
So typically, if you have a high fat diet, you have a low carb diet.
Here, switch with me. It's fucked up. I don't know what happened.
Yeah, typically if you have a high carb diet, you have a low fat diet. If you have a high fat diet, you have a low carb diet. So with this one, it's like medium fat, and then the carbs go up and down throughout the week.
Okay.
So you look forward to certain days, and I think it's easier to follow.
Sure.
Than most of these diets
Is
out there.
it just, and I'm starting to believe this about all diets. Because I've done a few, like a fasted and
they all
intermittent
work.
fasting.
They
and
fucking
keto.
all work.
They all work.
Works.
But I think they all work because they're all caloric restriction.
Yes.
Like basically what happens at the end of the day, when you're following a certain diet, you're making choices to stop doing certain things. And at the end of the day, like you're wearing a Whoop right now, and I love Whoop, and I wear mine. I just got to get the battery thing on it. I want it on so bad. My battery broke, and I'm getting new batteries for it because I wanted to wear it for pregnancy. Like my wife to see how much I'm sleeping and recovering and everything. But you see how much you burn in a day, and it's like, oh well, if I'm in caloric restriction, I'm losing weight. If I'm eating calories more than I'm burning, I'm gaining weight. It's that simple.
But it's just matching up the diet with your lifestyle. So some people, they can't not eat carbs. They just can't fucking do it. And then some people, they just can't not eat high amount of fat. Like literally, I'm the guy that loves fat. Like I don't care about carbs nearly as much as I care about fat. Like I really look forward to like that Primal Kitchen mayonnaise, which has a lot of fat in it. I look forward to like bacon. I look forward to like fatty meats and like.
I remember your whole ground beef, your grass fed.
Yeah, I've always been like I've been doing it for so long now that like when I eat like a high carb diet, I feel gross and I actually get kind of soft. And if you look into like these different like body types, you know, they have like those endomorphs, ectomorphs. I was always like, that's fucking bullshit. But I looked into it and I'm like, you know, the short stocky guy doesn't do good on carbs.
Yeah.
And that is a real thing.
Like you said, I'm very similar where I eat a lot of high fat and high protein, and then what happens when I start doing running a lot, which I'm running a lot lately, I will crave carbohydrates after my runs, and I'm like, you know what, I'm gonna eat them.
Yep.
Because my body's telling me they need it.
Yep.
And I'm not gonna. I know I'm not ketonic. There's no way I'm going on ketones when I'm running.
But that's knowledge based, right? Like you know that you need it at that time. When you're done working out, you need them.
Yeah.
And a lot of people, they just don't have that knowledge base, so they're just like, it's nighttime and they're like, I need carbs. You know what I mean? It's like, no, you don't. You didn't do anything. But like, and like, yes, everybody wants ice cream at night. We all do. You know, it's just like
get some Halo Top.
Yeah, you just got to figure out, you know, what's going to work for you. And at the end of the day, if you're in a caloric restriction, it's going to work.
My father-in-law admitted to me that he eats a half gallon or a pint of ice cream every single night, and he's a big dude, but he's pretty in shape. And you know, he's had all his metrics taken, and I said, you know, they were like, you should cut back on this and this and this, and I was like, okay, no more gelato, switch to Halo Top. And he's like, what's that? So I had him come here. I had like 20 different flavors. I'm like, look,
try this out.
And he'll eat the whole fucking pint, and he's like, I just ate another pint. I'm like, but look at the difference in calories. You just ate 280 calories or 300 calories. That other one was 1,200 calories.
Yeah.
You ate the same thing. You were fine with it. But there was a difference.
It is very light. I feel like I can eat 3 of those fucking things.
When I go through,
you just can't have.
There's
3 in the
almost
fridge.
a psychological thing where you're like, I just ate a fucking pint of ice cream.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, that thing's been taken off. It's been insane. I can't believe how big it is. I have a Facebook group now that is just growing by like the thousands of people that do it. It's pretty unbelievable.
And you spend a lot on advertising to get it around, or is it word of mouth or what?
At this point, between everything, I'm spending like 5-digit numbers on advertising.
Wow.
Every month.
That's crazy.
Which is cool because I don't pay for flights or hotels or shit anymore. I get a lot of points.
You put it on your credit card. That's really smart.
Yeah, but you get it all back and then some if you do it right.
Yeah.
And you have a good product. Obviously, there's people out there trying to scam people, and that's just not me.
My wife works in internet marketing and stuff like that, and she's a designer, and she owns a company, and she's told me that even her successful company she consults, she'll say, even if you're breaking even on the internet marketing, she's like, it's still getting your voice out there that's then going to turn it into something.
Yeah, you kind of like, you grow your follower base a little bit. And I mean, I was kind of always I've always been that guy. Like the better things have gone for me. I really haven't changed much. I still drive the same truck I had when I had no money. And I went on a podcast one time and the guy was getting like, you know, pretty in there trying to figure out how much money I was making. And like, I told him, I was like, yeah, I make like 7 figures a year. And he fucking lost his mind. And all of a sudden, like, people must have heard that. It must have spread somewhere. And all of a sudden, you know, I started getting asked to be on all these podcasts because they're just like, this fucking guy is killing it. And I always thought, you know, it would be a bad thing for people to know, but it wound up being a good thing because everyone asks me for advice now. And like, I have like my validity now. Everyone's like, this is really cool.
People love success. And I was listening to a podcast today. They were talking about Jeffrey Epstein, the guy that's in trouble now. Do you know about this? He's, it's a big, because he was friends with Clinton. He was friends with Trump. He was friends with all these guys. And he was this rich hedge fund guy that has private jets and everywhere and was friends with all these guys. I'm going to close this door because it's fucking pissed me off. It's Paul Rodriguez talking right there. But they were talking about him today on this news story or this news podcast, and they were like, how did this guy get to be nobody knows how he made his money? And I'm sitting there like, are you guys idiots? You don't understand money? Like, people with money like people with money. And he had money, so it attracted people. And they're like, but how did he get his money? And I was like, he played the game, you know, like he was there, and as he moved up, and you let people know, and all of a sudden everybody's like, oh,
yeah. My mom was terrified. She's like, I can't believe you said it, blah blah blah. And I was like, well, now you're making me nervous. I don't know if it's a bad thing. And then it wound up just being like a good thing. And I've been like really blessed ever since. Just being able to tell people my story and
Yeah, it's great.
coming where I came from. Like, I'm not embarrassed. Like, I mean, I was always like nervous to say anything like that, but I'm like, you know what? Fuck this. I'm proud of this. Like,
And
this
you're
is a
doing
good
something
moment.
that helps people. As long as like I don't believe money's the end all be all. I think is
It
if you're
fucking
making
is not
money
even close to what
No.
I thought it was going to be. Like, I literally was so excited, and now it's like,
you just buy more stuff.
dude, I get so pumped on like buying people shit. You know what I
that's
mean? Like,
good.
I'm so pumped to buy other people. I buy more people stuff than I buy myself.
Yeah.
My coaches.
Thanks for my TRD Pro that you bought me.
One of my friends needed a new computer. I bought him a new computer.
Yeah, I'm not at that stage as a comedian, but I have comedian friends that are so successful. They'll bring a guy on tour, and then the guy will finish the show, and they'll be like, "Here's your Rolex." And they're like,
Fuck.
"What the fuck? You're buying? He bought you a Rolex? I'll fucking open for him." They're like, "Oh, he bought me a lap," like all that kind of
That
stuff.
really happens? Wow, that's gnarly.
I mean, people don't realize stand-up comedians that are at the top are making more money than Madonna and I mean, yeah. I don't know. I would say, yeah, Kevin Hart and Jerry Seinfeld are making more money than Madonna. What people don't realize is Madonna's got to put on a show, or Taylor Swift or someone like that, and they need a crew, rigging crew, lighting crew,
It's expensive.
dancers, managers, everything. Where Seinfeld just gets
Stands
on a
there.
plane and shows up and goes, "Is this thing on?" So you have no overhead. And I've talked about this with my band friends. And
Have you
they're
talked to Seinfeld? Is he really funny?
Yeah, I've worked with
Yeah,
Seinfeld a
pretty
lot.
cool.
And
Fucking my favorite show ever.
but my band friends will be like, "Wait, so you don't have to split it with anyone?" I'm like, "No, I don't split it with anyone."
Yeah.
And they're like, "It goes straight to you?" And I'm like, "Yeah, it all goes to me." I have an agent and a manager, but if they're not involved in the deal, it doesn't go to them.
Mm-hmm.
I don't pay them unless they're involved in the deal. And sometimes they are, sometimes they aren't. If they brought it to me, I'm like, "Here's your commission."
Yeah.
But for the most part, it's just like stuff that I'm a regular that they're like, "Hey, come back and thank you for my check," and no one else gets paid.
That is crazy to think about. I never thought about that.
Yeah, but I've bands, you hear these nightmare stories of the publishing, like who wrote the song gets all the money.
Oh, like in the movie,
it's-
in that recent movie that just came out, it was kind of like that.
Was that the
Bohemian
one?
Rhapsody?
Oh, I didn't see that.
Yeah, you'll see like there's like arguments about like who wrote the song and who's
Fuck,
getting
yeah.
paid. And
It's ugly.
yeah, it's pretty gnarly.
It's really ugly. My friend has that going on really badly. But are they starting the show right now? I think I'm first up. Oh my god.
Yeah, you got,
let me see the
you got
time.
15 minutes.
Oh, it starts at
7:40.
15. Okay,
7:41.
we're fine. People always say to me, "Can you go like right on?" I'm like, "Yeah." Oh, shit. I'll be like, "Hey, what are you guys doing?"
How long is your piece?
I'll probably do 15 minutes.
15 minutes.
Yeah. So, this is when I'm in LA. I only do little short. LA and New York, you do like 15, 20 minutes a show, and you can go do multiple shows in a night. Because I haven't slept in 3 fucking days, I'm going straight home and going to bed because I'll be up all night changing diapers. But it's I'll sometimes do 3, 4, 5 shows a night. I'll go from one club to the
wow.
next club to the next club, and
Same piece too.
yeah, I'm working on different stuff and same stuff sometimes, but we don't make any money. Like, I'll probably get like $100 or something for this. We make our money out on the road.
Oh, okay.
So that's why when you listen to the show, and if you like me, come out and see me live, like in Chicago. Wait, where am I next week? Dallas. I'm in Dallas, and I'm in Chicago. Then I'm in, where am I going? I'm going, not Madison. I'm going to Nebraska, Boise.
Boise's an
No, I'm going to, I am going to Boise in August, but I'm going to, where am I? What's Nebraska?
I don't know.
I'm in Nebraska. I know I'm in Nebraska. So it's all at eddief.com. Check out my dates. I'm all over the fucking place. Canada, I just added a couple dates.
Canada's sick. I like Canada a lot.
I do like Canada. I like Canadians. They don't, they're cool, laid back, but they're fucking, no. CrossFitters are monsters up there
Yeah.
because they got nothing else to do. They're farmers.
I love Whistler and I love Banff. You ever been to Banff?
I've never been to Banff. I want to go.
Unbelievable. I don't know how much you've been following me at all, but like my big thing I've been into recently is just climbing big ass mountains.
Yeah, I like to do that. You should come with us. Tommy Hackenbrook's coming.
Where are you going?
We're doing, you've seen where Hunter lives.
Yep.
So that's a mountain chain. That's the Santa Monica Mountains. We're going from Palisades to Point Magoo. It's 68 miles, and we're going to do it. This would be good for your knee. We're going to do it in, we try to break 24 hours, which we'd have to average about a 21-minute mile, which is just walking pace, but that's taking no breaks.
Yeah.
So like a jogging kind of, the goal is to like walk the uphills because it's 16,000 feet of elevation. Walk up the hills, jog down, jog the straights, and do it straight.
Yeah, there's no jogging down hills for me.
Yeah, it's so painful.
Yeah.
It's so fucking painful.
I just did my first mountaineering route up.
How do you go down hills then?
I mean, I just walk down.
Do you use trekking poles at all?
Yeah, the whole time.
I think we're all gonna use them.
Yeah.
Because
The mountaineering route, though, I just went up Mount Hood in Oregon. And
Yeah,
it
that's
was,
nice.
It was unreal.
I've skied that.
It was, to go to the peak was fucking badass.
Pretty badass. Yeah, I went
Yeah.
there in the summer because of ski camp. They used to have ski camp there, and you could ski in like July.
And I've done Mount Whitney a few times. I went to Italy last year and did all the stuff in Italy. I went to Norway the year before
You
that.
did like the Dolomites in Italy?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
It's really cool over there. And I've done all the mountains in Norway.
Do you think you'll ever be an Everest guy?
I don't think so. It doesn't really sound that fun.
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't think people realize it takes you like a solid 2 months to get to the top.
Yeah, and it also, it's just like,
And I've seen the photos of the people in line. It's
and
like
you could also
kind of,
die not knowing. Like, you could be the fittest person in the world, and just shit goes wrong, and the next thing you know, you're dead.
Yep.
And so it's too much of a risk to like.
I'd like to do Denali, which is in Alaska, but even that's 21 days. I don't know if I just can't take 21 days off of work.
Well, I figured. I just found out the distance or time that it takes to go to Everest Base Camp and back, which that's only 20,000, I believe. And you walk up, and that's where like it really begins. But it still takes you like
10 days.
I forget.
It's like 10 to 14 days just to get there.
Of hiking, and it's the distance we're gonna go over this chain, but we're not doing the altitude.
Yeah.
But we have 16,000 feet of elevation, and that's about what Everest Base Camp is, at like 16,000 or something. So I'm like, we're climbing the amount of climb you would do for Everest, but in 24 hours. And Tommy's doing it. Hunter keeps saying he might not. I think he'll pussy out. But a bunch of other friends. I was talking to a guy today who's coming, so it's going to be fun.
I'm going to do Mount Rainier soon in Washington, and then I'm also going to do Kilimanjaro in Africa, and then I think...
I've had a lot of friends do Kilimanjaro.
It just seems like a fun one. It's like 6 days.
Just watch out for the, like, that's where you get, like, dengue fever and shit like that.
Yeah.
That's what you got to worry about.
Get all the shots before you go.
Get all the shots, because I had a friend get dengue, and it was really fucking bad.
Oh, that's gnarly.
Yeah. I have all the shots from going to, like, I've gone to India and Africa and all this stuff, but, like, call a travel doctor and be like, load me up with fucking everything you got, because you do not want to get a fucking African disease.
Yeah, that would be terrible. Yeah, so that's like things that really get me going now. Like I do a lot of adventurous stuff like that. I kayak. I've done a bunch of kayaking in rivers in Canada. I'm going helicopter snowboarding in
Nice.
New Zealand in a few months.
Yeah.
And just like
Do you
stuff
know
like
where you're
that.
going in New Zealand?
Queenstown.
Okay. But do you know what mountain?
No.
Okay.
Just the Queenstown Mountain Range, whatever that is.
I've done a couple of those.
It's called Southern Lakes or South Lake helicopters,
Yeah.
something like that.
We're going to do Alaska in, I think, March. I'm doing...
I just want to drive
Seward.
through Denali National Park. Just looks amazing.
Yeah, it is. Alaska's... I go up there every year now. I'm going in December, and it's...
What's your favorite part that you've been to so far? You fly in Anchorage no matter what, yeah?
Always... Oh, no, I've been to Fairbanks, too.
Okay.
But Fairbanks is, like, flat and boring
Yeah.
and creepy, kind of.
But you fly in Anchorage and it's cool right away, right?
Yeah, but I'm going to Haines in December. That's where we're going to go heli skiing.
Ooh.
Or no, December I'm doing shows in Anchorage, and I'll do like a show at Alyeska Resort, and then
That's where the Chugach mountain range is.
Yeah.
I wanted to go there this year, but they didn't have any good snow this year, they said.
they didn't have good snow when I was there last year.
Yeah.
But March we're going to go to Haines, and that's where I'm going heli skiing. I'm a little scared. Like I don't get scared often, but Haines, I'm just a little avalanche scared, just a little.
Yeah.
bit.
I think you just got to stay away from the really steep ones.
I'm a little claustrophobic, and just to get covered in an avalanche and die buried alive,
It's not going to be good.
it could be the worst way to die.
Yeah, it's not going to be good for sure.
I'd rather drown than
Even with the beacon, I think you still have a good chance of like not making it.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I just know, like, a lot of friends have done it. They're like, "Oh, it's amazing!" But like, I've done some heli skiing in BC, but
I haven't gone yet. I'm just excited to go.
but it's just, you hear these stories of like, this guy, it was just, everything was fine. I mean, my friend just posted videos, and he was there this year, and I saw a little avalanche. I've caused little avalanches that I've seen that I'm like, oh, if that's bigger, that kills you.
Yeah.
And I saw my friend start one, and I'm watching the video. I'm like, oh my God, he's about to get caught in an avalanche. And I see him like snowboard out of it. And I was like, do you realize you were almost in an avalanche? He goes, oh yeah. And I was like, oh fuck, this shit's dangerous.
Gnarly.
Yeah.
I had a friend last year, all of his friends were in Alaska trying to go to this one mountain peak, and the helicopter kept trying to land, and it couldn't land. And eventually it made it onto the cliff, and the blade hit the mountain.
That's my big fear too.
And the helicopter started spinning, and he's like, guys, get the fuck out. They jumped out. Guy died. The helicopter pilot died. All the guys just jumped out on the mountain. They don't have their snowboards or anything because they just jumped out of the helicopter. They have no avalanche beacon, nothing. They were out there for like 2 days in a cave that they made, and eventually they found them because there was no way to find them. They didn't have any receiver or anything.
This is the worst story ever.
So this is a girl in my gym that I was personal training. Her husband, it happened to his friends. Like, this literally was someone that I know. Like, that's
the worst story ever.
And then, dude, check this out. They all had to get therapy after because they were like super fucked up.
Yeah.
So one of the guys, his therapy was he had to draw pictures for the therapist of what happened.
They call that art therapy.
Dude. So the fucking guy is a terrible artist, obviously, and he's drawing this helicopter, and everybody like terrified and whatever, and like all of his other friends were like, they took screenshots of it, and they're like sending it to each other, like all their friends, like, look at this fucking asshole's drawing, and they're like making fun of him. And I guess they like never let it go. It's like 2 stick figures falling out of a helicopter, and like
that's the worst though.
Yeah, but that story fucked me up too. I was like, oh man, I don't know if I want to go anymore.
I'm an idiot. I put myself in dangerous situations. Like, I won't do so many things that are so simple and easy, but I don't like to ride roller coasters anymore. I just don't like the locking bar.
Yeah.
Yet I'll go surf near sharks, and I'm like, oh, no big deal. Like, I know there's sharks out there. They just spotted one yesterday, but I'm going to go surf there. Yeah. And it's just a weird, like, where all our fears are supposedly. I never thought I had a fear of heights. And when I was in Australia, they had us climb. I don't know what the fuck's going on downstairs. We got to end this soon because I got to find out. But they had us climb up the top of the stadium, the Adelaide Oval, where they play cricket.
Yep. And
rugby. And we went up, and there's just like a little like construction like staircase and everything that you go up, and they lock you in. So I've got a carabiner, and I had to go up these stairs over like probably a couple 100 feet up over something, and it was just a single with like only a railing on one side, and I was just like, oh. And I was like, where the fuck did this come from? I've never been afraid of heights, and I was just like, I want to go home.
You start getting older, you just become a pussy.
It's conservatism.
Terrible, yeah. When I was a kid, I wasn't scared of shit.
Yeah. Well, hey, thanks for doing the show. I appreciate it. We got to go because I got to run downstairs. I think I might be on next.
This was great, though. I loved it.
I love having you. I'm so excited for your success. I think it's amazing. I'm glad to see you've figured it all out, like which a lot of people in this business haven't, and I hope they do. I hope people figure out and put all their hard work and everything that they've done and prosper from it. So
we gave a little breadcrumbs on this podcast. So
yeah. And I'm sure they can find you and ask for help and figure it out because you seem to be a very giving guy. But
you guys can find me on Instagram, Ryan Fish, RyanFisch.
And if they want to do your contest,
everything is on JimRyan.com. So
it's Jim Ryan.
So Jim Ryan is GYMRYAN.
Oh, GYM. I was like, who's Jim Ryan?
So Jim Ryan, I just consider that website to be like all things gym related because I started in the gym business and now I do everything that's still fitness related. And I just thought Jim Ryan kind of sounded cool.
Smart. Well, I can't thank you enough for doing the show. I appreciate it. Thank you guys for listening. And we've just been. I just had to turn in our numbers to our advertisers, and the numbers are just ridiculous and through the roof. And so thank you for spreading the word, supporting the show, saying nice things. Everybody's been so nice. And so thank you guys, and keep listening, rate, review, subscribe on iTunes, and support all our sponsors, and check out Maya Pucks and Leopard Claw for helping us out. And I think that's it.
Yeah.
Check out all my dates at eddieft.com. Good night.